Activision CEO Bobby Kotick will consider quitting if he can't fix company's culture.
Consider.
It
actually
God, he looks like shit there, too.
No, that's literally him in Moneyball.
He looks like a fucking, like a fish man. He's just like, my name's Bobby Kotick. Like, he looks like the kind of guy that says his B's all fat.
Why are his eyes so close together?
Bobby Kotick was fully aware of the sexual harassment allegations for years. Look at this fucking evil piece of shit. Every time I see his face, I want him to die.
I don't know what it is about your face, but I just want to fucking smash it.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do about it? No. It's just
just your face.
Listen, I'm not advocating for violence, but he is the type of person that you do need to drag to the streets, shove a $10 bill in his ass, and send him to the fucking bus station so he can be on his way. It's my birthday.
Nobody cares, Brock. You're old.
As hell.
I'm in my 30s still. The 30s are not going away anytime soon. I will say that.
Yeah, but they're slowly approaching 40.
Yeah, I know. So this is episode 71 of the Blacklisted Gaming Podcast. I got the docs with me, and we've got some fucking bombshells today.
Kaboom.
Like big ones. And I'm saving the best one for last.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I believe this.
Oh, it's related to Bobby Kotick.
Cuck.
Bobby the Cuck. He's speaking of Bobby the Cuck. Bobby the Cuck is getting cucked.
I bet I bet he is the one to like watch other people fuck his wife.
I would not be surprised. He's also probably the one that would try to tell people that he wants to fuck their wives. But
oh yeah, that's absolutely true.
I'll let you fuck my wife if you let me fuck your wife.
So
everyone's got a price. But
when it comes to the topics, we're gonna piggyback kind of a little bit on we're gonna update a little bit on the GTA Definitive Edition stuff because Rockstar came out with some fun bullshit about that, and then backpedaled on certain things. And now, when we talked about in the last episode how the all the original fucking Grand Theft Auto games that you used to be able to get on Steam that they took off, and the only ones you could get were these dog shit remasters. Well, they reversed that and put the old ones back, and then they said we had some unexpected issues.
Unexpected. Okay.
Right? That's exactly what everyone's saying. Like, cool story, bro. Changed my life. We know you're lying.
Of course.
Another one, which is this is one of our bombshell topics, but also not surprising. If you are a streamer and you use Streamlabs, I got bad news for you. Streamlabs is likely not going to exist in the near future.
I've always thought they sucked ass anyways.
And I'm only saying that out of my own speculation because they are getting fucking destroyed by everyone in the industry right now.
Because they're copying people.
So it's come to light that Streamlabs has been plagiarizing people's work and then throwing their own trademark on it.
No way.
Including OBS. And I honestly thought that Streamlabs and OBS were collaborating before this.
Never.
And well, because I knew that, right? And most people even thought like, oh, I thought they were collaborating. I didn't know that they stole the name from OBS.
No.
And it comes to find out they did steal. They stole the OBS name, and OBS told them not to. And there's a lot more into it than that. And people started calling them out because they have plagiarized someone else's direct streaming from console model, and to include their landing page for the product itself. Graphically, word for word, image for image, exactly the same.
No, not even trying.
They didn't even try. And then like that service even called them out. And then now Elgato called them out. And then OBS called them out.
Oh, Elgato called them out? Ooh.
It's not even just that. And then you have big streamers like you have some big streamers like Pokimane and all these other ones that are saying they will no longer be working with Streamlabs.
Oh yeah, Pokimane was like, you can take my name off of your website or my face and shit.
Exactly, because her face is on the home page. And in fact, both of the streamers who are on the home page for their website have requested that their image get removed from their fucking.
Because they're like
brand.
The only big streamers that actually ever used slobs.
There's a few. There's a handful.
That's about it.
I mean, still a handful though.
It's still a handful, and I mean, like they probably worked a deal out with Streamlabs. And here's what I will say. I can understand why people use Streamlabs because it's pretty new user friendly. Versus OBS, and I know you've been using OBS since the beginning. You're a little bit biased with this, but when I started, Streamlabs was easier for me to figure out than OBS was.
See, I downloaded both. And I felt the opposite. I felt Streamlabs, like I understand it is for most people it is easier. To me, it was more complicated, and I felt like the open source.
It was more. It's more
OBS
complicated because there's a lot more things in it. But in my opinion, like they paywall a lot of this shit that you can. That you can do for free on OBS. And we'll dive a lot more into all of this stuff when we get to that. Another bombshell, like this is the last one I'm saving, is Bobby the Kotick is getting cucked hard by the entire gaming industry.
Good.
To include Sony and Xbox and everybody else.
Except his board of directors.
Except his board of directors. And it's kind of funny because it's come out that there are allegations against Bobby Kotick that were never reported, including other reports from other people about, other that he didn't send up to the board. The board didn't even know about it, and they're still standing by him. And now it was so there was more information about it that was so bad that it prompted over 1,000 Activision workers to walk out. And then there ended up becoming some issues within Sledgehammer. So, like, this whole lawsuit with the DFEH has brought to light some shit within Sledgehammer and not just Blizzard and Activision.
Interesting. Well, I mean, they're part of Activision.
Like, this one is, like, straight up, like, women are reporting that their supervisors have raped them at parties and stuff. Like, got them drunk and then raped them in their hotel rooms.
Jesus.
And this is at Sledgehammers, and these are supervisors. And apparently they brought that up to Bobby Kotick, and he did nothing. Shocker. But, like, he did nothing. And now women are saying, Bobby Kotick has also had some sexual harassment and assault allegations against him. And then one of his former assistants had harassment claim. She filed a harassment claim on the pilot of Bobby's private jet, and he did nothing about it. And when she said something to him about it, he threatened to have her killed.
Jesus.
And then she was filing a lawsuit, which got settled outside of court. So he left a voicemail saying that he like fucking berating her and then threatening that he will have her killed and all this stuff.
I think he acknowledged that voicemail too.
He did. And in fact, Activision as a whole, the board and everyone, the way that they try to downplay this fucking incident is abysmal. And it caused all these Activision employees to walk out, even at a digital level, where they just stopped work on everything in boycott. Well, and now the employees are calling for Bobby Kotick to be removed. Shareholders are calling for Bobby Kotick to be removed. Other people within the games industry are calling for Bobby Kotick to be removed.
Yeah.
And his board of directors are like his buddies, and they're like saying, we believe that his business model has been successful for the company, and we don't feel like he's sorry for what he's done. It's like, oh, so these little zero tolerance policies apply for everyone else
except him,
except the dude at the top. Okay, so you know what you really need to do? We need to start dragging this fucking dude out in the street and beat the shit out of him and send him on his way.
You know what? I want to see where are the guys that have been sexually assaulted, because I know they're there.
I'm sure they are.
I know they're there.
I'm sure they are, but unfortunately, the thing is, it makes up a minority of it. And there has been there's been guys in Blizzard that have come out.
I haven't heard about it.
They have come out about it. Some of them, there's just not that very many of them. So, but we're gonna. There's a lot of it. There's not a lot of going on, but these things that are going on are big, and I'm hoping. And my prediction is that Bobby Kotick will be out of fucking office as the Activision CEO by holidays.
Really?
I think so. I think because this is going to get so much fucking backlash that the board of directors is going to have no choice but to do something. And he is going to either resign to save face or he's going to get removed.
Drag this out.
He's going to drag this out until they remove him because it's going to get bad. And
he's going to pull a Richard Nixon?
A Richard Nixon? What, like pull it all the way until the end of his...
I resign.
Probably, yeah. So let's talk about... we're going to talk about Rockstar real quick, guys.
I always think of the fucking energy drink every time you say it.
Why? Oh, because it's Rockstar?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean...
It's not even a good energy drink either.
I mean, the energy drink does a lot more than what the studio does.
They don't do anything to their flavor.
Oh, you know what? Before we move on, do you have any regiment news that you can think of?
That I can think of? Yeah, there's a $6,000 tournament hosted by the American Legion for Warzone that we're going to be doing.
Hey, what was this podcast that Chris was on?
What are you talking about?
He was on a podcast.
I have no idea.
He was like on I don't know, it was like a G Fuel sponsored podcast.
That
He
would
was a
make
co-
sense.
He was a co-host.
I had no idea. I must have missed that. Was that in like Gen Chat or something?
No, this literally just happened like yesterday.
Oh yeah, I definitely probably missed it then because I've been with stuff.
That's true. All right, anyway, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Rockstar real quick. This one's not going to take long, I hope. So, before we continue with this, Grand Theft Auto: The Definitive Edition is currently the second lowest rated, lowest scored game on Metacritic, sitting at a point. I want to say it's sitting at a 0.3 or 0.4 on Metacritic user score.
Are we talking about Rockstar?
No, we're talking about the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition.
Same.
So let's go to Kotaku, even though I really am like iffy about talking about like going to these guys' websites.
How's your birthday been so far?
Do you feel any different?
Do I feel different?
You got your Bengay and everything for your joints?
feel. I mean, it's just 1 year closer to my annual colonoscopy.
Yeah, it's just, these 2 fingers about to have a whole new meaning.
It's. I mean, listen, you guys have been in more dudes' assholes than me, so
That's by choice, though.
that doesn't sound much better at all. That's by choice.
I will never forget the first time I had to look at a butthole. The HM1 barber comes up to me. Hey, Nelson, want to go poke a dude's butthole?
You told me. Yeah, you talked about this.
What?
You want to go play in a guy's butt? Like
You rolled your ankle? I gotta get a temp check, bro.
it's just. do y'all really find reasons to go put a finger in some dude's ass, or
It's really a thermometer, but
do you find? Do you guys just go hunting for reasons to put something in a dude's ass?
yeah, because it scares them.
And they wonder why all the fucking jokes that they get.
Hey, I used to carry a piece of like old car antenna on my flak, and I would tell the Marines that was the silver bullet, because it had like that big thick top part, the little square knob or whatever. And they're like, "Dog, that's not going in my ass." I'm like, "It is if you fall out."
And they never fell out, huh? They just suffered.
Very few
through
of them did, but it drastically reduced it.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Don't be a bitch, and you won't get a fucking car antenna in your asshole.
But that's how retarded they are.
All right, so today,
definitely.
So this was a couple days ago. Some of these news updates are a couple days old. For the,
I mean, that's pretty good for us.
Yeah, I
as
know.
far as the news that we usually cover.
Today,
So
Rockstar
last week.
Rockstar Games released a statement where their publisher apologized for the various technical and visual issues players have documented in the recently released Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition.
That's such a long fucking name.
I know. I know. More importantly, Rockstar is promising updates to fix these issues.
Wait, trilogy? I thought there's 5 of them.
No, so the Definitive Edition comes with GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. That's the Definitive Edition.
Okay.
So, the publisher announced that it'll be bringing back the previously delisted classic versions of the GTA trilogy on PC via its own Rockstar store, and offers the remastered games that will get these returning classic GTA titles for free.
For free?
For free. The remastered GTA trilogy launched November 11th, and shortly after that, social media was filled with complaints from players who discovered missing fog, broken rain, ugly character models, new and old glitches, and more.
How do you have broken rain?
It looks like snow. It's like it is basically
It is
like
blinding.
here's okay. So when we go over the technical issues, here let me just kind of just show you.
Brock showed me during our last episode. It's bad. Like it really is blinding. It,
I'm on, like, 45
looks
minutes
it
in the
looks
last
like a
one.
whiteout. Like it does. It looks like a goddamn blizzard because it's so obscuring. And they don't add any other textures. It's just like white pellets falling from the sky.
Just think,
But they're streaks. So it's like it just covers up the whole fucking screen.
It's bad. It's like you cannot fucking see.
just think all this fucking wasted time, and we could be getting GTA 6.
Well, we couldn't be getting GTA 6 because Rockstar decided they wanted it to.
So
to
this
wait
is
10
what the
years.
rain looks like.
That's
Here, this is what the rain looks like.
It looks like sparks falling from the sky.
Right. So like, here's another issue with the rain.
That's not that bad.
Oh, wait till you see the video of it. Let me see if I can find the video of this. Oh, here we go.
Holy ad, Jesus!
I know these ads that they have, and Kotaku's ads are massive, and I don't understand. Okay, so
The world runs on ads. Said that's not terrible.
that's not what it looks like. You can't, like, honestly, you're riding around, you can't see a fucking thing, bro.
I don't know. I was expecting worse.
This is still bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not as bad as I was thinking. Though.
What?
Especially with that era.
Kotick, what are we doing, bro? What are we fucking doing, bro? Let's see this one. I'm curious.
That one. That one's intense.
This one's fucking really intense.
Go through the umbrella.
It literally looks like there's sparks.
This looks like
flying from the
GTA
sky.
5.
I literally think of, like, when I hear GTA 5, like, I just think, oh yeah, it's a recent game. No, it's like 10
this
years
is
old.
GTA 5. This has got to be a mod then.
I saw a Flash mod once, and it was pretty hilarious.
Holy hell, dude! Look at that.
That's fucking terrible.
So another issue that's been going on. Let's look at character models. Some of these are pretty bad, right? So here's one thing that everyone pointed out. Look at his fingers; they look like hot dogs.
Sausage fingers.
Here's one. The face changes from. This is what it looked like in the original.
Oh, show me the stretched out face thing.
Oh, the fucking.
Please.
The like the wall, the outer sides.
The
of the
outer
map or
wall just
whatever.
being the main character's face.
Yeah.
Stretched out.
Let me see. Let me see if I could actually find it. I found it. I saw it on Young Yaz video, right?
What the hell? That's a hell of a name.
Young Yeah?
I don't see any faces.
Hang on. I'm trying to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the faces, Brock?
Show me the stretched out face.
Faces. Well, I'm really trying. I don't even know. I gotta
stretched out faces. Everyone,
Or try
that's,
boundary. Or try faces on the boundary.
everyone that's watching right now, you're along for this journey. If you're listening, sucks to suck, I guess. But
Well, here's another example.
Go to the
This is the
YouTube.
original models, and here's this.
God, how did they make it look worse?
I know exactly
it's
how.
like better and worse at the same time.
Right? That's what I thought. I'm like, why does it look better but also bad?
Yeah.
The other thing that so essentially what had happened is that in this game, what they did is they took the mobile port and had an AI enhance it, and not a single person did a fucking quality check.
It's pure laziness.
So look at the pool on this. Here, check this pool out.
Is Rockstar the publisher or the developer?
Rockstar is the developer, and the publisher is Take-Two.
Who do we blame more?
Rockstar.
Wow, that's rare.
No,
That
we
blame the
blame
that we-
Take-Two.
That we blame the developer.
So here's this dude's. Look at these arms; are fucking wicked.
Yeah, I think most of the time the developers are the fucking nerds that like love video games themselves, and
Oh,
they're
true. We
like, I
talked
want to
about-
make the game.
Well, we've talked about this before, where like a lot of developers, when people criticize their game, they're like, "Yeah, no, we said the exact same thing."
Oh yeah,
And then the publishers were just like, either we don't care, there's not enough time, or send it up anyway.
yeah,
Because who
and
gives a
because
shit?
they don't know. Like, they take that shit harder than a lot of people because they want to make a good game.
Oh yeah,
because
And-
they know what it's like because they're fucking nerds themselves, and
Well,
half the time they have to play it to test it.
True. And well, we talked about a lot of times before how like, yeah, every company shits something out every so often. I believe that's something I said directly the last time, but most of the time they don't
Call
want
of Duty looking at you,
Battlefield
not as much.
5.
No, I'm talking about shitting things out on a regular basis.
Oh, on regular
Yeah,
basis. I was just talking about like, yeah, sure. Occasionally, like every developer does, they shit something out.
So
Like fuck From Software, Dark Souls 2. Like, I mean, but they don't normally want to.
Yeah,
Like, that's the
it's
thing.
always
okay,
the
so
publisher.
I didn't realize that this was supposed to be a pool shaped like the Rockstar symbol, and I thought that when they showed it,
Oh.
this pool was like literally like the pool was bugged out.
Now I see it.
All right, well, I'm really trying to find the fucking.
That's pretty cool.
Let's see faces.
You know, most of the time, and the ones at the publishers
map.
are usually corporate fucks that have probably never even touched a video game.
Or they don't look at the product; they just look at what people say about
Yeah.
their product.
Like they don't. I feel like they don't even give a shit about that because otherwise they would fucking listen. They just don't care.
Oh,
Like
no.
Bobby Kotick, I don't think has ever played a video game in his life. He's just very good with business. And back in the day, like in the 90s when he first came up, He was the saving grace
Ah, here it is. Look.
back then. What the fuck?
I'm trying to get rid of this ad.
Go away, ad.
I really hate it. I have to wait for the ad to cycle completely in order to get it out of there.
You can't even scroll.
It goes with it.
Good Lord.
Oh, here we go.
Full screen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
That's okay.
Look at it's the fucking dude's face.
Wow. But why?
I don't know. Look, they stretched out his face, and for the color palette, I'm assuming.
What is going on? This is the edge of the map, you said?
This is like at the edge of a dock. Yeah, look, this is the edge of the map. This is the terrain.
So, like, when you
let's
get
say, like-
close
like-
to it, though, it goes away.
But it's still there. Like,
That's weird.
it's almost like they try to fucking make the opacity go, make to where the features of the face go. But like, why are all these elongated pixels a stretched out fake fucking face?
Maybe they did it intentionally as like a haha.
No, it was completely unintentional. Like, they look at this fucking thing.
What is that? Is that tattoos? What's happening here?
It says the Matrix is leaking.
That looks like somebody in the Guinness World Book of Records.
Like most tattooed face.
The Guinness World Book of Records.
But yeah,
Guinness
look at this
Book of
shit.
World
This shit is
Records.
Yeah.
crazy.
There you go.
It's fucking crazy. So, anyway, let's keep going. The Grand Theft Auto series, this is their statement. And the games that make up the iconic trilogy are as special as us as we know they are to the fans around the world, explained Rockstar in a statement. The updated versions of these classic games did not launch at the state that meets our own standards of quality or the standards our fans have come to expect. We have ongoing plans to address the technical issues and improve each game going forward. With each planned update, the game will reach the level of quality they deserve to be. They seemingly make up for the botched launch and buggy games. Rockstar announced that it's bringing back the classic versions of GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas via its own Rockstar Game Store. So it said, an update regarding the unexpected technical issues with Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. I don't believe that they unexpected.
I think it was, we're going to see what we can get away with.
It's
That's
just
usually what it is, yeah.
So the launch of these remastered games has been a giant mess. When the trilogy launched, PC players were locked out of playing the remastered titles for days. Rockstar removed the files that weren't supposed to be in the game. It was believed too many of these files might have been a bunch of songs that Rockstar no longer had the licenses for, but which were still hanging out in remastered collections assets. Rockstar hasn't confirmed that the what was removed or why since bringing the games back to PC after the delay.
You know what that makes me think of? The licensing thing for the music. I've been seeing a lot more games that have music in them, but people are talking about like they can't play them on stream and shit.
Yeah, they can't stream them because they'll get fucking DMCA strikes.
Which is weird. You would think that they're allowed because it's in the game.
Because you bought a product that has the right to show
Right.
it. So,
Yeah.
So since
The product has the right to it.
And you have the right to play it, and it shouldn't be on the music.
It's a stupid fucking little.
because that'd be the same concept as saying, hey, you know, let's say I'm Rockstar, you're not allowed to stream GTA because that's my fucking product.
You know, technically they are the way DMCA is done. Video game publishers can DMCA strike streamers.
I don't.
They just don't.
Yeah, because it wouldn't.
It
be
wouldn't
conducive
benefit
for
them.
Yeah, it's
No, and I understand.
opposite.
If it would hurt them more than help them, and
I mean,
if
you would
anything.
think the same thing though with artists, like with a song.
Well, it's actually not. It's more the opposite on them.
Yeah.
I mean, you would still think that kind of exposure would really help you.
Not nearly as much as what video games is.
it's
The amount of eye rolling that I have is not.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling you,
enough.
but
It's
that's
just-
got to be how, like, vague the DMCA law is. That like, even though it's within a game, you've got the license to be in the game, you got the license to play the game and everything. But because it's music and the law is so vague that they can be like, well, you're playing that music, regardless of it in the game,
yeah.
and you don't have the rights to play that music to all these people.
Right.
That's fucking insane.
It is.
Well, because we were talking about the DMCA strikes previously, and I was still kind of like confused about it. They're like, oh, well, in regards to the mods and the modding community, I thought I was like, this is still bullshit though, because I paid for your product, And I use the analogy of a car. Like if I buy a car from a manufacturer and then I put not stock parts on it and I take it to a car show, am I really breaking copyright? No. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like, but no, for video games, suddenly, like the one that we talked about was a save file. It was a save file to get you part of the way through the game, and that was DMCA struck.
Which game was this?
GTA.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
It was GTA.
Yeah, they did a DMCA strike on a fucking modded on a save. It was a mod that was introduced, and all it was a better save file.
It just got you part of the way through the game.
The save file got you like halfway through the game, but it didn't help you complete the game. So it got you halfway through the game, so that like I don't know what was the purpose of it, but like at the same time, it was a save file, and they DMCA'd it, and then they got rid of it. So all these other modders are like afraid to add any more mods to the Grand Theft Auto games because Take-Two's been going around and smacking them all with the DMCA, and it's like,
Crazy.
Why are you doing this? Like the one thing that this game always had is mods, and even
someone keeping this shit alive.
It's honestly even crazier to me that they're doing this because
Very much so.
Not too long ago there was a modder that actually fucking got paid by Rockstar for their mod because they reduced the fucking load time of GTA 5.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that.
And apparently it was such a simple fix that all they did was change the code in a certain way to make the load times like they cut it down by like 75%.
I think it was when the new system came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like I think it was when they were getting ready to put it out for like the next gen. So like and then Rockstar was like, "How'd you do that? We'll pay you for it. We'll pay you
to tell us how you did this."
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah,
and like now here they are, they're DMCAing all the fucking modders and saying that no more mods. It's like your games were being improved by modders.
You even paid
for
a
free,
couple
essentially.
For free, and then you paid one that helped helped the performance of the game, and now you want to get rid of them all.
Yeah, of course.
And I know it doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
None of it makes sense.
But again, it was just weird because it's like, and granted, I don't know all the user agreements specifically. I don't know all this stuff in depth, but it's weird that I can buy your product, and then as soon as I change your product simply because you just decided that any change to your product was bad, suddenly you're going to give me a DMCA strike like a copyright violation. It doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like, it's the same thing like I said before with Sony.
Yeah, take it off.
Ooh.
Sorry, my fat ass is getting, my fat stomach is getting fucking raw dogged by this belt. It hurts.
But it's like the same thing though too. Like, so if you use a CD, which is a copyright product by Sony, so if you take a CD and you use it for like an art piece, let's say you break it in half, glue it, do something to it, can they DMCA strike you for changing their product?
Honestly, at this point,
it's like where does that stop? You know what I mean? Granted, I know that that's not Sony doing this. Still, it's just the idea though. Like, where does it stop then? Because you're allowed to change so many other products, but when it comes to a video game, suddenly like they can DMCA strike people for something as simple as a save file. Like, yeah, so now what if I save my game? If Take-Two makes a mistake, can they DMCA strike my save file that I'm actually just playing? You know what I mean? How much intervention are we going to allow them into the games that we play?
It's with Take-Two, honestly, it would not surprise me that like Take-Two is going to try to fucking control every little aspect about each game that they put out, to the point where they're willing to DMCA strike everyone. And to make it where they might, I wouldn't put it past them to trademark certain like mechanics within there. Who burped?
That was me.
I thought it was you.
No.
And I'm like, you hid that extremely well, and I don't know why. But anyway,
he's like, this guy's a fucking wizard over here.
So I'm like, I wouldn't put it past Take-Two the fact that they might actually start trademarking mechanics from their games, like the open world aspect or a crime stat.
I really hope that they start, the other game companies start really kind of pushing back against them, because there's, for a lot of game companies we were talking about with Sloth Games or Sloth Studios, people behind fuck my life, Among Us. Right? They were like, hey, we didn't want to do that because it's kind of looked down upon.
It is.
I hope there's some fucking backlash to this, because that's stupid. Like, that's some stupid
there's
shit.
plenty of backlash for them like doing these DMCAs all left and
right. I definitely know that the modder community is gonna be all over this shit, but still, it's just the idea.
Though there's been a lot of speculation that the reason why this DMCAing has been happening is because they are going to be remastering GTA 4.
Oh no, I 100% believe that it is. It's not for no reason. I definitely think it's because they want to sell their products that they're coming out with again,
Right.
to try to get sales. Because now
All products except for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, right.
which is really odd because unfortunately they're worried about money. Like they would get so much money if they just made an awesome Grand Theft Auto 6. People would buy the fuck out of it.
In all fairness, they are working on it.
I mean, yeah, but
They
they're also
haven't
working
sucked
on it.
enough money out of
I mean, but they're
five yet.
they're yeah, I know, but they're still working on it literally a decade after they launched their last title, and it's different. Whereas like we took something like, and I still criticize Bethesda for doing the whole Elder Scrolls Online, even though I know Alicia likes it. It's just the idea that's not what we wanted out of the company, right? Sure, they don't have to do every individual thing that we want, but you obviously knew what was in demand, so we knew that Bethesda has for some time now been working on the next Elder Scrolls. Cool, right? The reason why I'm upset with Rockstar more than I am with Bethesda is because Rockstar decided a decade after they launched their last mainstream title, hey, now we'll start working like early development on fucking GTA 6, and it's like, what the fuck were y'all doing? They were just sitting around. They weren't doing anything.
It doesn't help the fact that there hasn't. I mean, you could argue that they've been working on Red Dead, but it also doesn't help the fact that
But you could argue that's my
there
point.
is no expansions for GTA 5, and there are no expansions for fucking Red Dead 2. So you have nothing, but they only focus on the online content. Sure, they'll add more cars and stuff, but there's like no more stories. There's no other little like small stories that they could have added, like, but it's like,
right,
so
but they're
what have
not
you been
really
doing?
adding any more content, and unfortunately,
No, they're not.
They let the modding community really keep them alive, and then they're going to kind of like stab them in the back here with this. It's a lot of bullshit.
It's a AAA gaming publisher that only has ever cared about money.
Which is really stupid though, because you could make more money by by just letting people do this.
Listen,
I don't think they're understanding it.
They're not. I think they understand it. They just don't fucking care.
It's not about caring. It's about the fact that like, well, shit. It's not about not understanding it or not caring. It's just I think that they're doing stupid shit. They're clearly not doing good business models. I mean, I'm sorry, but people are gonna not want to use your products as often. Sure, everyone wants the next GTA, and that's fine. That's awesome. But unfortunately, though, like it's also gonna hurt your business though, because now things like the remastered trilogy that they were doing, if you just would have done that with a little bit of care, or even if you just didn't attack the modding community, people probably would have been a little less upset with you and would have put more money into your products, no matter how shitty they would have been. But now you're losing out on a lot more money because you just care so much about money. You know what I'm saying? It's even though it's very money focused, and I do understand they are a company that's their job is to make money. However, they do that, but their practices surely are not, gravitating towards them actually making more profits. And that's the shitty part, because now we're suffering for their mistakes, and now so are they. And I personally, I hope they suffer a little bit more from it, because this is just stupid shit. Like this makes no sense.
What's interesting about the DMCA stuff? Noticing that more games nowadays are coming out with that option to like turn off music or have streamer friendly music within the game, because they know how insane it is. But they also know that if people can't stream their game, that'll hurt them more than anything.
Well, there's also a lot more games now, too, who are getting their own orchestral pieces done for their games. So they don't
have to worry about it.
So they don't have to worry about it, because, sure, it may have costed a little bit more to do. It's like a lot of songs for like that From Software has, as far as I know. A lot of their music that they're having done for their games, they will then own, or it's like written in the agreement that like, this will be done. So that way you could stream something like Dark Souls, and just because an orchestral piece swells up, you don't have to worry about it, because From Software already has the rights to it. And since they're not going to DMCA strike me for streaming their game, because they're like, hey, thanks for the exposure, they no longer have to worry about they don't have to worry about the music stuff either. I know it's a little bit different, because Grand Theft Auto admittedly is in a different genre, where it would be weird if they had their own music pieces done, because it's not like culturally relevant music. And so I do understand that, but a lot more companies are starting to go that route, to where they'll pay a composer to make them a piece for their games, and then they just don't have to worry about that shit.
I can only imagine like the copyright free music that you can have playing in your game besides the one that's already there. Probably, how much of the dynamic is thrown off because of it?
Well, not as much anymore, because Harris Heller, the one that created Stream Beats,
Yeah.
He's been putting out. She's been like throwing shit out there because he has his own studio now. But he's actually gotten bands and everything to like put out legitimate music. That is just there's different genres that he's got.
I meant like in game.
But it's the same concept. You just put them in game.
Having music in a stream is
but
one
it's also
thing,
going to be kind of weird though, because if you're, let's say you're playing something like GTA and you're used to like a certain amalgamation of songs playing, and I mean you can't tell me that you don't get used to that, and then suddenly someone's going down the road and they're just completely like off the wall music is going.
Am I
on.
the
You're
only
like,
one
"Whoa."
here that thinks that like streamers that are hanging out in their stream and have music playing in the background it's fucking annoying?
Usually, yeah. Especially if it's like significant. You can significantly hear it.
It's and not even just that, but like I personally find like
it depends
having
on the streaming channel definitely, because if you're playing a game and you got some song going on in the background, I don't like it because
it depends on the game probably.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
If it's like a single player RPG game where you're just walking around fiddle farting around.
now that's my thing though, is I've had a couple of like those people who go through RPG games and they'll have like some kind of like lo-fi, like really soft, so you can tell it's there and it's not just quiet during certain moments, which is nice, but it's also while something's going on, it's almost like that shit just fades in the background, like you don't even know it's there because there's a boss battle or because something's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
So that way, that's well done, and I like those.
There's one streamer that I found that he actually only plays his music.
Yeah,
That's really legit.
He writes and mixes his own music, and and it's like electronic and hip hop and shit.
Talk about avoiding copyright shit.
And it's it avoids.
Like, damn.
I mean, I'm sure he'll like it's actually kind of funny because there have been people that have been copyrights like DMCA struck on their own shit.
Yeah.
Metallica had a show, did a show on Twitch that Twitch was sponsoring.
Well,
and they ended up having to fucking mute Metallica's music to play copyright-free music over it.
That's not because of them. That's because of the company that owns their masters. The artist doesn't necessarily own.
Because Lars, the drummer, is hardcore about the fucking DMCA shit when it comes to Metallica music.
It's usually people's, especially when people first start their contracts. They don't know the music industry or anything. They don't read their contracts. It's the first part of people's music careers that are usually like tied up within the larger companies, and that they barely even get paid for really because they don't realize
that is true. There's a metal band that I like. They're called The Browning, and they're for a long time. There was like a weird period of time where if you went on YouTube or if you went on Spotify, their entire first album was missing. And I'm like, where the fuck is this album? Apparently, the record label that they signed with on their first album was refusing to let them have rights to their own music, so they couldn't put those songs on Spotify, on YouTube. In fact, they weren't on any platform.
Wow, shit.
T-Pain talks about it a lot.
I'm sure he does,
because he does the Twitch thing, and he's like, if you guys up to like a certain point, he's like, if you guys play that music, you're probably gonna get DMCA strike because it's like the labels own the masters for that and everything. He's like, anything from that I make from this point on, you're free to do, because he owns the rights to that music because he has his own studio and
anything before that, it's up to the label to let that happen.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I've actually had parts of my streams muted for copyright, and there was no music playing.
It's interesting.
And I'm like, and I'm like, was it because I was possibly singing?
Sometimes. So the part of,
and I'm like, I'm singing.
It's weird.
And it's like I'm not allowed to use the same words out of my mouth as a song.
Yeah.
In the octave of that song.
Yes.
But in my own tone.
Yes.
Because the way DMCA is written, that's legitimately against.
That's so stupid.
Is
this
bad.
fucking Russia? Is this North Korea? Fuck you. This is like commie shit.
The shitty thing is a lot of people in the music industry, they do know that it needs to be revised because it was done in like 2000, and it wasn't created for how things are now. Like they never anticipated things like Spotify, the way YouTube works now.
How could you?
The way streaming is. They had never planned for that, so it's not written for that. It's written for like when you go to a fucking Walmart, you get a CD and you put that shit in your boombox. So that's why like it's so vague to us now, and it's being applied in ways that it really shouldn't be.
It's dumb. This DMCA is dumb. It's bad business practice and shit. But you know what? Also, to what's the word? Segue into another topic. You know what else is bad business practice? Plagiarism. So let's talk about Streamlabs.
It's pretty similar, yeah.
So, Streamlabs is getting a lot of shit, and rightfully so, because they fucking suck. Now, like I
like how
said,
they didn't put Streamlabs OBS in there.
yeah, because in fact, Streamlabs announced that they will be removing the OBS name from their shit.
Yeah,
So Slobs is now going away.
because OBS like called them out. They're like, we've been trying to get them to take out OBS in their name for years.
And they've been trying to handle it internally, and they said that like
Yeah, they're trying to be nice
Streamlabs
about
has
it.
been uncooperative at every turn, and now with all the backlash they're getting, they're like, okay, fine, we'll do it. So Streamlabs, the allegations made by Lightstream, that's the name of the other streaming service, include seemingly identical website and user reviews.
Have you ever heard of Lightstream?
No, I have not.
haven't
But
either.
they're verified on Twitter too, which is weird. I've never even heard of these
they're a
guys.
company. That's hard. That's easy to do.
So this week, live streaming tools developer Streamlabs was accused of plagiarism by streaming service Lightstream. This followed an announcement of its new service, Streamlabs Studios, for Xbox console users. Lightstream tweeted a comparison of Streamlabs and its website, which appear very similar. Let's look. There it is.
Definitely have to zoom in on that.
So the left is Lightstream. I can't zoom in on that anymore.
Boo.
So this is Lightstream and this is Streamlabs, okay?
Wait, which one is which?
The one on the left, all this on the left is Lightstream, and all the purple is Streamlabs.
But Streamlabs took the corners off their rectangles, so it doesn't count.
Oh, it definitely counts. In fact, they apologized for this. So let's read it out since you guys probably can't see it. It says, level up your Xbox and PlayStation streams. Level up your console streams. Automatically add overlays, alerts. Right? Automatically add overlays, alerts, and other media every single time you go live. Automatically add overlays. This is exactly the same wording right here. How does it work? How does it work? And they show the consoles. They show the personalize you could do, the stream itself, and they did the same thing. Activate, personalized, stream. All the same tags, different appearance. Cloud capture for console streams. Cloud capture for console streams. And it's all look at the wording on this is exactly the same.
Did you see that they took people's reviews and
Yeah.
copied them over?
Yes.
Did they really?
That's
Yeah.
they went as far as taking the
Like,
reviews from
legitimate
Lightstream.
reviews, and like
you're
people
gonna
that wrote the reviews were like, "No, I wrote that review for this company,
Not yours.
not yours." They just
That's
copied that over.
Insane.
That's-
So you're
that's-
going to go so far
is
as to
to-
where you're going to copy and paste comments, like actual like reviews for
Yes.
a company.
Yes.
But you're not going to make any of your own shit.
Like not even change it.
So
Jesus.
full layout and design control. Full layout and design control. All you need is your console. It says go live in minutes from your console.
At least they fucking changed that one.
Remote
slightly.
control from your couch. Remote control from your couch. And look, it says right here, Lightstream was literally here. You can't see it through our heads, so let's move over to the side here. Let's read the comments. Lightstream is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you so much for making it so easy. Love this platform. Love how they listen to their community. Let's go over the Streamlabs review.
Is it the same person in picture?
No, it's a generic dark photo.
Wow.
It says Streamlabs Studios is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you so much for making it easy. And this one says, love the platform. Love how they listen to the community. And then they added another thing. It is the perfect platform for console streaming. They added their own little thing at the end of it.
You know what's interesting? So, my girlfriend she used to do stuff like this as a side job where she would take other websites and she would redo stuff. So she would basically rewrite the whole website.
She would
So
plagiarize?
No, so you're not plagiarizing essentially. So she would take another website because it was for a similar product, and sometimes it was for the same website, just so they could redesign it and whatever.
Yeah.
And she would rewrite it, and she would put it into different terms and everything, so it wasn't plagiarism. And it's common practice that like sites will. That's why like a lot of sites they look very similar, but this is damn near. This is like 95% just the exact same.
They just copied and
Like
pasted
they
it.
didn't even try.
Changed some of the colors in the imageout and
they took the
maybe
corners
added
off.
and changed a few words here and there.
Barely.
Yeah.
Most of the words are even the same.
I want to point
Yeah.
out. I want to point out fucking Lightstream's tweet on this. Right?
Hey, can I copy your homework?
Clown, hey, can I copy your homework? Lightstream, yeah, just change it up so it's not obvious you copied. Clown, bet. And the replies, hey, everyone, we genuinely appreciate the signal boost support. Blah. And then there was another guy who commented. It was like one of the actual developers of Lightstream.
What is going on here?
Fuck, is he murdering his girlfriend?
Why is this pertinent?
Anyway,
That's an assault charge.
Maybe it was supposed to be like the dude was Lightstream and the other one was.
oh, look at this. Content creator I Am Brandon showed that both services also had user reviews that appeared identical. Let's look. Wait, holy shit, the user reviews are copied. I know because I reached out to the people at the reviews of these comments and when I worked at Lightstream. No, Streamlabs, you need the answer for this. And they are exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that
Is
you
that
can
yours?
see them.
I knew somebody was going to say something.
I had to. Come on.
Says Lightstream is awesome. People steal their content on Lightstream. That really is me. When I was streaming for my Xbox, I used them a lot. Still love the service, and they've always been awesome. But they have had many people steal their pages in my review. Oh,
Yeah,
so
that's
so
what I'm
shit's been stolen from them before.
The
and,
actual fuck.
but it's like, you mean to tell me?
Where was OBS's tweet about them?
We'll get to it. Lightstream wasn't the only streaming service that had concerns with Streamlabs Studios. OBS Studios said via Twitter that it was advised Streamlabs services name, Slobs, Streamlabs Open Broadcaster Software, despite expressing that it didn't want the name to be used on Streamlabs and proceeded to use it and file a trademark.
Is that what OBS stands for?
Yes.
I just never.
So
paid attention.
essentially, so what they did, here's the tweet about it. So OBS said, near the launch of Slobs, Streamlabs reached out. Fuck, get out of there. Reached out about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyway and followed up by filing a trademark.
When did Slobs come out?
Hang on, we'll look at that in a second. So we tried to sort this out in private, and they have been uncooperative at every turn. Says we're often faced with the confused users, even companies who do not understand the difference between the two apps. Support volunteers are sometimes met with angry users demanding refunds. We've had interactions with several companies who did not realize our apps were separate. Legally, they have obeyed the terms of the GPL, but they have repeatedly disregarded the spirit of open source and of giving back. Despite these actions by Streamlabs, and this is a baller statement, the OBS project will continue to provide free, open software and tools for everybody. We will continue to support our users, the community, and our amazing developers for their hard work.
That's true open source shit right there.
It is true open source. So now let's look here.
That's like some Linux stuff right there.
So let's look. Streamlabs
Launch.
Launch date. So, oh wait,
What? No, that's
Streamlabs desktop, the OBS Studio Media streaming for electronic users for interface.
2014.
Was it 2014?
Yeah, it says company Streamlabs was founded in 2014. One line up.
The first version of the app, however, was launched on the 31st of 2020 for Mac OS.
For
So
Mac.
Streamlabs was founded in 2014. Okay. When was OBS founded? 2012.
So 2 whole years before.
Yes. So Streamlabs 100% stole from them after OBS already was a thing. They just didn't trademark the name, I don't think.
Yeah, they didn't trademark the OBS thing.
So,
And technically, they still could because Streamlabs would still be separate because they're Streamlabs. It's the addition of Streamlabs, I think, makes it separate.
yeah, it
Which
does.
is why OBS is allowed to have their name, even
And
though
it was
they have a
weird that the
copyright.
compatibility for OBS and Streamlabs was still there. Like this is why a lot of people thought
Sort of.
Well, a lot of the features in Streamlabs carry right over to OBS, and that's why people thought, like including myself and many other people that were kind of unaware of this, that OBS and Streamlabs were actually collaborated, and that was because like you could use the same tools. In fact, even on the in the Streamlabs chatbot, there's an option for running things in OBS. So, and even when you open OBS, the Streamlabs notifications that you get will show up in OBS. So even though you had to use it as a browser source, but like a lot of things are compatible with OBS that from Streamlabs,
Right.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it was like, I kind of figured it was like this is the whole idea. The differences between the two is one was more open source and advanced for someone who knew what they were doing and could add and refine things how they want it.
Yeah.
And Streamlabs is more of the way of you're brand new to this, you don't know what you're doing, and you can use the same tools, but we'll simplify it for you, and then we'll give you access to other things for a fee to help you get started. And like including making your own website. That was what this essentially. And even Frugal Streamer was talking about this, which it's funny because Frugal Streamer, a lot of his content was Streamlabs based because that's what he operated on the most. And now, in light of this whole thing, because he just personally preferred it. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to preference. What do you like to use more? I like to use OBS more now because it uses less CPU, whereas Streamlabs uses a fuck ton of CPU. It's very CPU intensive. Like on my laptop, I would have my overlay on there and all the other scenes and shit, and I would be using like 20 to 30% of my CPU. When I went to OBS, I don't even use 10% of my CPU.
Because everything else that it has is also running in the background.
Right. So
I wonder if Stream Elements is partnered with OBS. Because I have Stream Elements OBS and I have OBS Studio, but when I open up Stream Elements OBS, it opens OBS Studio.
It might. So the thing I was also getting at with Frugal Streamer, what he was talking about was that you can pay for the premium. Everything on Streamlabs is free to use. There are other things like overlays and a website and a merch store. All that stuff is paywalled behind the Prime.
Like the custom shit, basically.
The custom shit. And like having your own custom chatbot where you can change your chatbot's name. Command Sergeant Major Bot. May he rest in peace because now he's no longer a thing.
You can still do it.
I don't know how.
I know. Stream Elements.
So I might actually end up doing that, like using a Stream Elements chatbot so I can have I don't want to use Streamlabs anymore, but right now
it's the same thing. It's just
going to take me a whole day of just switching everything over, making my custom alerts again, blah blah blah. But
I can share my screen on Discord and show you.
Yeah, we'll have to do that on a day when I can actually sit down. We can both sit down and do it. So everyone like Frugal Streamer was talking about like unless you're going to use those features, you don't need Prime.
Right.
But you do need Prime to get the overlays. Because Streamlabs, the one good thing that they do, but there's a way around this. So if you Streamlabs Prime guys out there, since we want to fuck Streamlabs over now, when you go in, and let's say you have Prime, you can go to the overlays. And it kind of sucks for the overlay companies because this, obviously, the money is not going to them because you're no longer buying the overlay. When you install the overlays on Streamlabs, it installs all the files from every element inside of that overlay to your computer. You just gotta go dig for it, and you can put that in your OBS, and then you cancel. You just download as many as you want, and which ones you really want, and then cancel your Prime, and then you fucking just go into OBS, and then when you go to put in an overlay, you just gotta search through your files to find it, and it's not labeled as it's like in an overlays folder deep within your users folder. So and then your other little apps folders that you have in there. It's a lot of digging, and I only found this out because I went digging myself, and I'm like, and I happened to stumble upon it.
But you can move them after you find them.
You can move them after you find it, but I ended up stumbling upon it. And I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, because you watched Frugal Streamer, and he said that you can put it into OBS and basically just copy it.
I didn't watch
it.
I didn't. No, that's not what I watched. I figured this completely out on my own. I didn't watch him do this.
I remember we watched him.
I watched him do something else. It wasn't related to the overlays. I was watching him do something completely different. I can't remember what it was. But when I found out that the overlays could carry over to OBS and that you had them all on your PC, I found that out entirely by accident.
Maybe it was just installing it. I don't remember.
It was like when you install it it'll show you how to do it on OBS, like you install it. But I thought it installed it to the program, not to your PC.
Ooh.
So I went in there to my PC and I found it. I'm like, wait, do these overlays like? At first I thought, is it just the image of the scene, or is this the actual animation? And it was the animation. It was the entirety of the scene, or whatever product that you want to put in there, and like any kind of media, because it's all a media file.
What was the one that wasn't working for you?
There was That was when I first got into OBS. It was several of them that just would not work, and that was only because I was trying to do a transfer from Streamlabs to OBS.
Oh, okay.
Like I was trying to import directly from Streamlabs to
Oh,
OBS.
that's what I was thinking of. What you were
And
doing.
like that's the one. That's the Frugal Streamer one that you were
Yeah,
talking about.
that's the
Because
one.
where there's a way to import your overlays from Streamlabs to OBS directly.
Okay.
But you don't even need to do that. You can just go into your files and find it, and then just install that into your overlays when you want to add a new one, and then just use it. And then mix and match however you want.
Well, I don't do all this stuff, so
You're welcome.
a little
everybody.
over my head.
You're welcome, everyone. That's a little information you don't know. So if you're if you have Prime and you're looking to leave, just so you know, and this even goes for ones that you uninstalled from Streamlabs that you were no longer using. Because here's the funny thing, when you want to install an overlay or any kind of like thing that you've ever installed from Streamlabs, it only uninstalls from the app. The files are still on your PC. Because I found every overlay I've ever used and stopped using and got rid of out of Streamlabs. I uninstalled them, and to clear out my fucking overlays list from Streamlabs, and the files are still on my PC.
No wonder our computers start going super slow.
Because everything that you download from Streamlabs stays in your PC.
This in general. I mean, there's millions of other things that apparently probably stay there that we aren't aware of.
Oh, I know. That's why, like, when I figured that out, I'm like, what else is in here that I don't use that
Yeah.
I'm just that are just bogging it all down? And I found a ton of shit. So that's why I only kept the overlays that I really would use for any kind of reason,
Yeah.
and just deleted the rest. Because I'm like, I'm never going to use
Who's
this.
doing y'all's YouTube stuff?
It's gonna be Guido.
Oh, yeah, because I talked about potentially paying him to edit some of my shit.
So Streamlabs actually released a statement addressing some of the concerns it faced. It says, "We are taking immediate action to remove OBS from our name," said the company. Streamlabs OBS is built on top of the OBS open source platform. Streamlabs OBS is also open source, and our code is publicly available. We are taking responsibility for our actions and will support the community. Following the allegations of plagiarism, the company's business practices were also called into question. A former member of staff at Streamlabs also pointed to the alleged unethical practices for the company, but didn't provide further details. And let's open this and see what he says. Huh? He says, "During my time at Streamlabs, so many people in marketing were reprimanded, but put on PIP plans and were fired for speaking up against unethical business practices to the point where they basically got rid of the entire marketing team by 2018.
What's a PIP plan?
Picture in picture. I don't fucking know, man.
It's a picture.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue what that would be.
Sounds like a good plan.
Well,
right there.
essentially, like, I feel like the unethical practices were just, you know, I think that might be what it is. Them just taking shit from other people, copying and pasting, and marketing it as their own. That might be the unethical thing he's talking about.
Maybe.
That might be why he didn't specify.
But they're being smart about it to where, like, what OBS said, they copyrighted it, basically.
So, as Asmongold, willing to boycott Streamlabs and lose money if OBS drama isn't resolved. So let's open this. So I'm sure you guys know this guy pretty well. He's a very popular streamer.
Plays a lot of World of Warcraft.
Yes, he does. So Twitch star Asmongold said that he's willing to lose money and stop using Streamlabs for his broadcast on his main channel, and explain why he would end his partnership with a software company. On November 18th, Twitch star the main Pokemon Annie's publicly criticized Streamlabs for allegedly using the name of OBS Studio, an open source tool. We already read that. The next day, the streamer cut ties with the company after claiming the company was using images of her without her permission. Shocker. That is not shocking at all. You know, I always wonder this. I'm like, they must be partnered. Because everyone that looks at that automatically assumes, like, well, these streamers got to be partnered with Streamlabs. Come to find out, no, they're not. They're just taking their images and saying, like, look, these streamers use our Streamlabs. So now Asmongold has chimed in about the situation and offered his perspective on the allegations against the company. So Asmon was streaming to his secondary Twitch channel, Zachroar, when he touched on his feelings about Streamlabs.
He has 2 Twitch channels?
Oh, yeah, most of these people do.
That's interesting.
So the streamer said, "The fact is that Streamlabs certainly is not a clown show. It seems to be the whole circus. There's more and more bad things coming out about Streamlabs. People are mad at Pokemon and Hassan for criticizing it while simultaneously using it. I'll tell you why. It's probably because they have partnership with the website." He carried on, "How do I know? That's because I have one too. Probably not for very long after this goes to YouTube. If this goes on YouTube, if it ever does."
Well, it's there now.
Asmund, when he was probably recording it and then sat on it for a minute. Asmongold then delved into if he would continue to use the service on Twitch. He said, "Whenever I come back to my main channel, I don't feel like the company has done what I want them to do, which is unlikely. I'm just going to stop using them. That's all there is to it. If it is what it is, we'll see what happens. But there it is. I'll lose money by doing it, but it's whatever." He ended by saying that he makes more money from the sponsored streams than his partnership with the company, so it's a loss he'd be willing to take if needed.
And I mean, he's big enough to where he'll just get another.
I mean, yeah, most of these big streamers are.
Yeah.
So let's
once you get to a certain point, you're not dependent on one. You get rid of one, and another one is willing to jump up.
I'm curious to what Elgato has to say about this.
Everyone who is on your channel is totally willing to go to you for their content.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
Just
this is one of the developers, right? So the team at Streamlabs should be ashamed.
What the fuck?
Should be ashamed. Not satisfied enough to write OBS projects, hard work. Now copy ours down to the layout and every word on our marketing site and our UX in this product. So let's see. Twitch streamer, the former Lightstream Brandon. I am Brandon. We talked about him. So didn't know well with Lightstream either. Both the open broadcaster software team, the company Elgato noted their own experiences with Streamlabs. Let's see.
Oh yeah, because they have their own. They have their own software.
Oh yeah, it says know that feel. Control your live stream from your phone with Streamlabs Stream Deck. The first time. Was that it? Was it just the Stream Deck?
Well, they've got, because you got an Elgato mic now. They've got a platform that you can record for and stream from too. There were huge tits on that chick that was on there. Sorry, that was super distracting. On that, the ad had super massive tits. The stream software for Elgato is actually really good, specifically for recording. Honestly, I think it's more designed for recording and doing like YouTube videos and everything. But you can stream from it too. But it really only works the best like if you have Elgato software to use with it, because it's yeah, it's pretty inclusive to where like it works the best if you've got like the Elgato mic. You've got the sound wave and everything like that. But the software is really smooth and really nice.
I'm going to have to look at this software for the wave. You're going to have to show me.
So the sound mixing software is the only one that I use, honestly. But that's the one that you truly need.
So let's see what Hassan had to say about this. Watch your feet. I will never use Streamlabs again if they don't immediately resolve this matter. Also, this is basically retweeting the OBS thing. So here's what I don't get about Pokemon. She says, Streamlabs better resolve this entire thread of issues or I'll be asking them to take my face off the platform. Why would you ask them if they were using your photo without your permission anyway?
So she probably doesn't care if she's getting paid for it or not, because
this one's interesting too. It's unclear how this new development will affect the Streamlabs studio rollout and the platform's partnership with Twitch. So wait, Streamlabs and Twitch are partnering?
That I don't know.
So
two shit companies.
But in my opinion, I don't think Twitch is going to do shit. I think it's going to stay the same.
Probably.
I mean, Twitch isn't doing shit about their own problems.
No, they don't.
It doesn't make them worse.
They fucking hardly do anything.
So it's like, of course, this isn't going to get resolved because Twitch is involved.
No. Let's take a quick break. I got to piss, and I want to get another beer.
All right.
So I'll be right back.
That shit.
Understood.
Right. So you guys ready to talk about the biggie one, the big one? It's about Bobby.
If it's Bobby getting the big one.
With Bobby's, not only is he getting the big one, Bobby Kotick killed himself.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did.
No, the fuck he did not.
He's fucking dead now.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Show him.
He's not dead. I'm kidding.
That would have been a fucking bomb to drop.
I've never been so
Wouldn't
excited.
it have been? I was like holding on to that one just to drop it on you. Like, so Bobby Kotick has committed suicide. No, he didn't. He didn't.
He's too rich to
I mean, he should, but like anyway.
If he did, not many people would be upset. I'm not telling him to do it.
Listen, I'm not advocating for violence, but he is the type of person that you do need to drag to the streets, shove a $10 bill in his ass, and send him to the fucking bus station so he can be on his way. Violently angry. Where it's like,
think that they're above the law because they make so
they
much
think they're
money.
above everything, and that the rules don't apply to them. And at the end of the day, and I'm like, I've said this but once, and I'll say it again. At the end of the day, you're a fucking human being like the rest of us.
Because money pays
and you are
for
just as
so
fucking
much shit.
fragile as the rest of us.
Oh,
all it takes is one fucking bad motherfucker to show them. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not advocating for workplace violence. Please don't do that. And then tell everyone that I told you to do it. But like at the same time, it's like dudes like this, like you got these fucking billionaires. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on Epstein's flight list. Oh wait, actually, I think he is.
Oh, also, by the way, in recent light, and this isn't about being political, but this is about people covering a lot of shit up. They decided to stream and video the Kyle Rittenhouse case, but the sex trafficking case regarding Epstein
I found out
stuff.
why. I found out why. It's a federal case. You can't have media inside of a federal case.
Right, but I thought that was the case for just about any court case.
No,
which is
only
why-
federal.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, so it's just weird because it's like it sucks because the case that people really would have wanted to see is that.
But that's part of what pisses me off. People will talk shit about that, but also not go like what he did, go out of their way to look up why. Or
Right,
like,
no,
look up
I
if there's a
understand.
difference.
But what's up?
Activision CEO Bobby Kotick linked to Jeffrey Epstein.
This is from Reddit. Can I get a real source?
Okay, GameSpot. Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision, listed to have traveled to Epstein Island. Game facts.
This looks like another Reddit.
Because
thing.
are we surprised though? Probably not.
I'm not saying that I would be surprised if it were true. I just want a more reputable source.
No, understandable. But I'm just saying, like, what are we surprised? Probably not.
All right, let's see.
Something that's not a
What you want
a
a
forum.
news article?
Yes, which is even still debatable at that.
So this is an image of Bobby Kotick's flight list. I don't know if this is the right place to post this, but since it involves Activision CEO, I thought it might fit. Gawker currently has an art. Let's see. That's not what I want to do. Gawker currently has an article featuring scans from Epstein's Little Black Book, and on page 36, you see Bobby Kotick. Let me find him. There he is.
Yeah, he's right there.
Well, that's spelled really wrong.
Yeah. Fake news.
I wonder if people comment on that.
Wait, is that an article?
Yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is that. So let's talk about this fucking moron real quick.
I saw him. He's
so
in Moneyball.
This
isn't
is so. By the way, yeah, he was in Moneyball.
That's what I thought. I watched it recently, and I was like, wait a minute, isn't that fucking Bobby Kotick?
Yeah, it 100% is. So, and it's funny because he's a fucking sleazy CEO in that, or whatever the fuck he is. Anyway, so
owner.
Wall Street Journal blew this wide open.
Sorry.
And it's crazy. Here's the other crazy thing. Wall Street Journal, before they dropped this article, the day before, Activision put an email out to all employees saying that they can have the entire week of Thanksgiving off.
Yo, I need to work for Activision now. God damn.
Also, they knew that this article was coming out because they also said that we're going to be seeing some articles come out that are untrue, blah, 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 blah. And it ended up being this. So let's talk about the Wall Street Journal real quick.
You'll probably have to pay to read the article.
It doesn't seem like I have to so far.
It'll give you like a few things.
I love this horrible photo of him. He's like lost and scared.
What's a good photo of him?
Fair.
So Activision
That's
CEO
fair.
Bobby
That's
Kotick
fair.
knew for years about sexual misconduct allegations at video game giants.
The wording.
Shit, I do have to pay for it.
I knew it. It's because it's the Wall Street Journal.
Whatever.
When you have to pay for news, to me, it's not news.
Oh my God! An hour ago, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick will consider quitting if he can't fix company's culture.
Consider.
Is this him in Moneyball?
Yes. It actually
God,
is.
he looks
Yeah.
like shit there too.
No, that's literally him in Moneyball.
He looks like a fucking a fish man. So
He looks like a flounder.
he's just like, my name's Bobby Kotick. Like he looks like the kind of guy that says his B's all fat.
Why are his eyes so close together?
Because he's got a thyroid problem and they're all buggy and close together.
Why does that link to thyroid?
I have a glandular problem.
This is all new right now. This is all new. This is
Are we like on time for the news?
in
holy
fact,
sh- holy shit.
We might actually be
We're
pretty.
breaking
we're
news
breaking
that's not
this
going to come
news.
out till Wednesday?
Nope, I'm actually going to edit this. I'm probably going to edit this tonight and try posting it tomorrow. Because Mondays seem to be when things change, and everyone will be talking about
Oh,
this
yeah.
tomorrow.
I'll
Don't rush
be
yourself, though.
damned.
Well, don't rush myself with what?
We are on
Well, I mean,
time
if
for
you're-
the
I
news.
guess if you're off work, but
I'm off work. What does it fucking matter?
no, I know.
I mean,
just
that's
remember
fair.
because you put it to Wednesday because it was like super hard.
Yeah, but
schedule-wise.
this is news that I.
But also doing it for like a one-time
Here's the thing.
is different than like
this
constantly.
this is the kind of news that is like I need to get this out as fast as I possibly can because then we'll be behind the curve by come Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because this is something that's been rapidly updating since the announcement of him knowing this and other details coming out. It's been daily that something has been happening, and the weekends tend to be pretty quiet,
Yeah.
except for right now. But aside from that, Mondays typically seem to be the day that like all the news that we covered before Wednesday have been fucking updated.
Yeah.
So then our news sounds
Because everyone goes
old.
back to work.
Everyone goes back to work, and our news sounds old, even though we covered it literally
Like 3 days.
2 days before it, but we posted it 2 or 3 days after. All right, so
Which is funny when a lot of our news is also like a couple weeks old. There's always a fucking update.
I'm trying to find. It sucks because
An article.
no, I'm trying. Well, yeah, I'm trying to find an article, but there's so much going on right now.
Do it by most recent.
No, it can't be that recent. It's got to be at least 5 days ago.
Oh, you're looking for a specific article.
Yeah, talking about how he actually not only did he know him, but he had. Okay. So new report, PlayStation Universe. So new report alleges that Bobby Kotick was fully aware of the sexual harassment allegations for years. Look at this fucking evil piece of shit. Every time I see his face, I want him to die.
You know,
So-
you know what is it? Step Brothers.
Yeah.
When they're like, I don't know what it is about your face, but I just want to fucking smash it.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do about it? No. It's just
No,
your
it's just
face.
your face. That's literally how I feel about
So
it.
Activision Blizzard chief
You're right, though. There's
executive
no good picture of him.
Activision CEO and President Bobby Kotick allegedly knew about the sexual misconduct allegations going on for years, according to the latest report from the Wall Street Journal. You can read the journal's report for yourself if you like. If you like, though, I feel inclined to provide a trigger warning, as it indicates as the incidents discussed in the report could be potentially triggering for some. So hundreds of employees have spoken out about the toxic culture facing their time in the Activision Blizzard, and many reports of sexual misconduct and harassment within the company have come out since the first lawsuit came down. The latest report further goes to show that Bobby Kotick and Activision Blizzard leadership have little to no intent of repairing what's been damaged. Kotick should, at the very least, resign from his position, if not removed from the board of directors for his own gross misconduct and mismanagement of Activision Blizzard. That's as much as the article goes, and this is a shitty article.
Think about how the reason that I think a lot of these people, well, partially one, I think it's double-sided. They make so much money, so people will make allegations against them that also aren't true. Because we know that's a thing with rich people. And two, these people make enough money that they themselves, if and when they do commit those acts, they're like, I can just pay them off anyway.
So here, this goes on.
Well, that's how
this
it was
one
with
goes.
the Bill Cosby case.
Yeah.
His
So,
initial case was just settled
not
out of court.
only was he aware, but he was helped covering it up, and he's also been accused himself. Bobby Kotick was accused of some pretty heinous things this week. Heinous. A new report was alleged the studio's head has known about sexual harassment accusations in the company for years, and that even helped one employee alleged to have been involved keep their job. As Activision employees staged a mass walkout following the report of the studio's board revealed it was still very much on the side of its leader. And it was, and we'll read the statement soon. PlayStation and Xbox bosses, which this is fun, Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer have since spoken out against Kotick and the studio, and the former has even removed Call of Duty Vanguard from its featured store.
Wait, so Xbox?
Xbox, you can't get Call of Duty anymore from fucking Xbox stores.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, right?
I still don't think that's fucking fair
Listen,
to the developers.
here's the problem.
I'm almost proud of
I'm
them.
not
Though.
gonna lie.
Hold
Here's-
on, I'm so proud of them.
Right?
Like, I really am. It's like our little boys are growing up. Like
It's like, oh, look at our boys running and making his plays. No, but like, yes, on one hand, and other people have said this isn't fair to the developers.
Or the
But
majority
at the
that
same-
aren't doing wrong.
Well, here's one thing here's an argument I can make to this. The developers have actively stopped working in protest of this until he comes back, until he gets relieved, right? Or as in boycott until something is done. They are willing to stop work and hinder the development of the next game to make a change. Maybe as much as it sucks, and it's punishing the developer in a way. I feel like the developers are almost willing to let this happen as long as something comes out of it, like a major change in the leadership of Activision. If this is what it will take, if Activision could start losing money from this, the developers will be fine with taking this hit as long as the culture changes.
Because overall, it would do a lot more good for them than, oh yeah, sure, your one game that you got to work on is getting like, kind of tanked out. That does suck. But if you can get Bobby Kotick out of there, even if he's just gone, even if at the very least he is just no longer part of Activision, it's going to do a lot more good for them in the future.
So it's like if they're willing to take one hit for the,
and I do agree though, it does suck that it's come to this to where it's so bad that, you know, Xbox and PlayStation are both, you know, slandering him and saying like, you know, how dare you do all this stuff, and Xbox is just like, hey, listen, we're just taking Call of Duty off of our stores. Sure, that sucks that it came to that point, but it's almost better that they do that and try to get him out of there than just like let it.
See, I think
the only way to get him out is to hurt him, is to get him where it hurts, and that's the pocketbook.
Because I think I agree with the developers, especially because they're the ones that made the game. I fully support that. And if they're the ones that are walking out, cool. I think it should be on them though, because they're the ones that are truly making the game. And
I mean, but the thing is that it would also give them a lot more incentive to want to stay there though, because one, if he gets put out, you get to keep your job,
or it gives development companies more incentive to actually do what Bungie did and separate from Activision. Because that's exactly what Bungie did. Bungie did this in 2019, and I was so proud of them because Activision was bastardizing Destiny 2 left and right, and then these creative ideas they kept bringing forward, Activision kept saying no, and they're saying that we want to improve the game because our players deserve this. Our the people that play this game and love this game deserve more. Granted, I will say this: Bungie has been dropping the ball a lot recently with the way that it's been doing its game. However, if they were still under Activision, like Destiny 2 would have died. And Activision actually and the craziest thing about that separation, when Bungie left Activision let Bungie keep the Destiny 2 franchise because they didn't have any faith that it would be successful. They said, yeah, go ahead, keep it. We'll let you keep that IP. We won't hold on to that. So they let Bungie go scot-free and keep their IP, and Bungie has still been thriving decently. If only Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, all these fucking guys would just be like, you know what? We don't really need you. Bungie did it. We can easily do this. If we just focus on Call of Duty and make it how we want to make it, people will flock to it.
And then if you make your product good and make it well, then you're still going to do just fine. And then eventually new IP will come. But the thing is, I still think it's better though that Xbox and PlayStation are both taking a stand on this, because then it prevents other game companies. Because we talked about it before, Ubisoft is still going through the same thing. You know, if they're willing to take a stand against this a little bit, even if it's just mildly, even if they're not doing
Ubisoft will think twice
tons
about
of shit.
letting it
Yeah,
slide
Ubisoft
more.
might think twice about it. Any other game company might be like, well, we're not going to do this because clearly the environment is not going to let us do this, because this stuff only develops in environments where it's allowed. You know, so if you make
that's not true.
It is true. I'm saying if no one else does anything about it, it's better to have a bigger crowd in your corner than it is not. You know, and don't get me wrong, I do agree to a point. You're right. If the developers are saying that, you know, working for this company is so bad, then you need to do something about it, and that's fair. Like, but they also are too. But also too, you got to think, not everyone can just walk out of their job either.
No, you can't.
So while it does suck, not everyone has that capability.
You were mentioning the developer thing back in the day, back around when Bobby Kotick first kind of took over, and it started to become like the publisher and the developer. It used to just be the developer, and they just, like, the game guys weren't smart. They were great at making a game, but they sucked at fucking marketing, and that's where, like,
they sucked in the business end.
Yeah, that's legitimately where he came in the 90s and took off to where they are now, because he was smart, he knew money, and he knew the business and marketing aspect.
Here's the thing. Marketing now is drastically different than it was in the 90s.
But it's so embedded.
But they also
you've
now,
got to get
but people
developers.
People also know now too that marketing is a big deal as a part of your making games, not just making a good game. So it's not like this revolution is still going on anymore. This is already done and part of normal practice. It's not like they need him in any capacity.
But it's gonna take the developers to truly walk away from the publishers.
Like
To
Bungie.
do it like on their own, like they
Bungie's
did in
been-
the old days.
But look at Bungie right now. So let's get back to this article real quick.
Who
'cause
does
there's a lot
God
more.
of War? Is God of War just a developer? Like the people? Santa Monica?
I
they have
want
a
to say it's
publisher?
Microsoft. Microsoft
There's
is the
no way, 'cause
publisher.
it's a PlayStation exclusive.
What, Gears of War?
God of War.
God of War.
Oh, God of War. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you meant Gears of War. Santa Monica is the only is the developer. Sony is the publisher.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Sony takes a lot of charge of with that. That's the same reason why people think that like for a while they were thinking that Naughty Dog wasn't doing anything, but Naughty Dog's actually been doing a lot of stuff. But they almost always have Sony as their publisher because they make games for them.
Wait, is that the end of this part of the article?
They've got to. It's gonna take the developers realizing that the times have changed and they don't necessarily need the publishers.
To a degree, I understand.
So
It's one thing if you work for like if your company works for like, oh, we're gonna make games for Microsoft, we're gonna make games for Sony. That's one thing, but doing it for like other companies like Ubisoft or Activision just isn't as beneficial anymore. And I agree.
Because the developers can be their own publisher. Is what I mean. They don't need a larger publisher to work under and basically tell them
true.
what to fucking do.
Oh, true, but it's just, and like I said, since people know that they need to market their stuff better now as well, you're right. That dependency is just not there anymore.
It's just the money. I think they're afraid of the funding and the money that they get from the publishers.
Yeah.
And it's that step of walking away.
So let's talk. So Polygon it's weird that Polygon actually has a good article on this because Polygon usually sucks.
We never go to Polygon.
So the Wall Street Journal now reports that Kotick was, at best, withholding key information in his response and, at worst, lying to protect himself from backlash he already forced out of some peers in senior-most positions of the company. The report alleges that Kotick did know about the toxic culture of his company and that he knew about the granular graphic level. The alleged heinous actions of Kotick has been described as having committed, not on behalf of the company, but on behalf of himself, as disturbing as they are abundant. According to the report, Kotick was aware of the number of sexual misconduct and allegations in Activision Blizzard ranging from sexual harassment to rape. In multiple cases, complaints were settled out of court. The report also includes harassment and retaliation claims against Kotick himself, stating that both were similarly handled outside of court. Problems at Activision Blizzard aren't new, nor are these problems blah, 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 blah. Following the recent news of her... So the first woman to elevate into position, Jennifer O'Neill, who is the co-head of Blizzard, the one that left, she stepped down from her role, would suggest otherwise. Let's talk about why she left.
You know, they talked about the selling outside of court. I don't like that wording because not in every case,
That could be literally anything, though.
but
Like,
in some
actually, this
cases,
is an
I mean, they
interesting
tell us in the military settle it at the lowest level. So like if those people had come up and they had brought it up, or maybe even directly to him, that was settled, that could technically be considered settled outside of court. That's why I don't like that wording.
Well, that leaves it so ambiguous, though. That could mean anything of, hey, we threatened that if you bring this up, that
Yeah, it's
we're gonna make you
all
lose your job,
encompassing.
or we're gonna exactly like, or that could be like, hey, there was a monetary I'm forgetting the words here. It's killing me.
So this one's fun. So more shocking Activision Blizzard revelations. Bobby Kotick once told an assistant he was going to have her killed.
That was the voicemail, right?
Yep. A new report, Wall Street Journal, unflattering picture of this fucking psychopath.
There's no flattering picture of him. Shit.
A new report in the Wall
Curly-headed fuck.
details further incidents, harassments, sexual harassment, and some dating back to 2006. The report with Activision characterizes an inaccurate of its own statement today. Details Jen O'Neill's short resign of Blizzard co-head to Kotick's own behavior, or co-head, and why she left, and also includes allegations about CEO Kotick on her own behavior. So the chick that left said that there's allegations against this guy already. So Jen O'Neill was promoted to co-head of Activision Blizzard in August 2021 after J. Allen Brack left, making her the first woman to lead one of Activision's business units. This was widely seen as a positive step for Blizzard amidst the grim allegations of ugliness. A few months after O'Neill has come out as someone who's experienced this harassment herself and announced her intention to leave. This is simply staggering. In September, O'Neill emailed Activision lawyer and announced that her intent to resign, saying it was clear that the company would never prioritize our people the right way, alleging she had been sexually harassed earlier in her career at Activision, and she was paid less than her co-head Mike Ybarra, who also petitioned for her to get paid more because he was getting paid more than her, and they were in the same position. I have been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against, wrote O'Neill.
But what was their... Sometimes it's based off of time in and experience too.
So
well, I don't think that would have been something.
She's been around with since 2006. So the main allegation about Kotick are that in 2006 he left a threatening voicemail on an assistant's phone, which he threatened to have her killed. The assistant, accompanied with Kotick, settled the matter out of court. Activision spoke what?
Complained.
What did I say?
Company.
Whatever. Complained. Spokesperson Helen Classy told the Wall Street Journal, Mr. Kotick quickly apologized 16 years ago for obviously hyperbolic. This is what their response was. Mr. Kotick quickly apologized 16 years ago for the obviously hyperbolic and inappropriate voicemail, and he deeply regrets the exaggeration and tone of his voicemail to this day.
See, I don't. If that was settled back then, I don't think it's pertinent to bring it up.
I mean,
I don't think it's fair.
But it is.
It's still a huge hit on his character.
It is.
But
you know why it's pertinent?
Sort of.
It paints his character, and it also solidifies that he has known about these things for a long time, and he's been trying to paint himself as the fucking white knight that's trying to save Activision. I'm going to cut my pay so that, until something is done and something's fixed. And the truth is, this solidifies he doesn't give a flying fuck about anybody in his company.
I understand. I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate.
Fuck the devil's advocate. The fucking the devil on this is fucking Bobby.
It's not how this works.
Who cares if it's settled outside
just
of court?
Because we don't like him doesn't mean that we can't be biased.
So this guy, you mean to tell me a guy who has had many accusations that we're going to go over on top of this has been shown to have known about everything going on within the company, withheld information about that from the board, trying to actively destroy that information, and is trying to save face and stop this lawsuit at all costs, and then when failed, I'm going to try to save face again by cutting my pay. And then it's coming out, it's like, this dude's actually threatened to kill his fucking assistant. Granted, who cares if it was 16 years ago or 2 days ago? The dude is still a piece of shit.
And I get that.
And he has had
I want to know about the shit that's going on now. Bringing up old shit is...
Oh, there is more.
To me, is wrong.
We're painting a picture of his character, and then this is going to go on from 2006 all the way until now. So this has been ongoing for a while. This dude has been known for trying to fucking hit on chicks at parties, harassing women ever since this whole thing happened. And the other point I'm trying to get at, it's another case of a fucking billionaire trying to get away with something because he knows he can.
Definitely, I do agree.
Yeah.
Now I do question why. I know it was settled out of court, but why did we wait 16 years before we learned about a death threat? I do agree with that.
I could probably
skepticism.
Here's what I'm guessing is why. Because the amount of staggering issues that have been happening within the company have only recently been highlighted, and it's relevant in that aspect of like he's trying to say, "Oh, we have a zero tolerance policy for this. We're going to change the culture of this company," and then it's like you have all these people that are still inside saying he's not doing anything, and then you got people from before saying that like he hasn't done anything before and he hasn't done anything since this incident. This incident that happened 16 years ago, nothing's changed since then, and he has no intention of changing it. He's only doing it because his ass is in the fucking burner right now.
Right, no, and I definitely agree that like obviously he was doing some fucked up shit, and it should be highlighted. And it definitely does tell you that it hasn't changed since then. I think that's important, but also, why are you just now saying something about this when this should have been brought up outside of court, but should have been brought up before, especially if you had a voicemail of this shit.
How about this response, though?
What's up?
Obviously hyperbolic and inappropriate voicemail that he deeply regrets the exaggeration of his tone. What is exaggerated about saying, I'm going to have you fucking killed?
I agree.
Do we have this quoted?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
What he said?
Yeah.
Are you like saying, show me the evidence on this?
No, I'm saying you can easily say like he said this when in reality it's actually that.
It does not matter how you threaten to kill somebody.
Here's the thing.
But did he actually
they
say that, or is that the tone that was taken out of it?
If he really didn't say that, right? Why would this be their response?
That's what I'm saying, because if he's apologizing for that, that's why I want to know.
It's like, yeah, I'm sorry about that, and he did apologize, and it was deeply in his tone of that was exaggerated, and he didn't mean it that way. That's essentially what they're saying.
You didn't mean to threaten my life.
That's what they're essentially saying. They're not denying it at all. They could have easily said, that is not at all what he said. What he really said was this whole thing is being exaggerated, and what he said was his tone was exaggerated, and he apologized for that, but they didn't deny any of it. Them saying it like this, it's like, okay, so they're not denying it, so it definitely happened.
I want to hear the voicemail. That's all I'm saying.
You probably won't. Who keeps a voicemail for 16 fucking years?
If there was reported, they would have.
So other allegations is that Kotick personally intervened in the case of Dan Bunting, the then co-head of Activision's Treyarch studio, a key part of the Call of Duty series. Bunting was accused by a female employee of sexually harassing her in 2017 after a night of drinking. Activision launched an internal investigation in 2019, which was reported and recommended Bunting be fired, but Kotick intervened to keep him. Bunting was instead given counseling and allowed to remain at Activision. However, after the Wall Street Journal began inquiring about this incident, Bunting has now left Activision. Reporting goes to detail rape allegations made against Javier Panameno, a Sledgehammer Games supervisor. The accuser's lawyer alleged he also sexually harassed a second woman in the studio. The employee who now accused him of the assaults reported the 2017 incident to the police. No charges were brought. The assaults were reported to Activision in 2018, and Panameno was fired 2 months later. The accuser's lawyer added that while her client was not reported the incidents to Activision before leaving in 2017, she had reported them to Sledgehammer's HR department while at the company. The report also alleges the former Blizzard tech chief Ben Kilgore faced multiple allegations of sexual harassment over the years and lied in an internal investigation about his relationship with a lower-level employee. Kilgore was fired in 2018 with Kotick's approval. Kotick has been subpoenaed by the Securities and Exchange Commission for an investigation into how the company handled misconduct and disclosed it. This is the fucking SEC doing this. So, per the Wall Street Journal, the board of directors was blindsided by the California's lawsuit allegations, including that an Activision employee killed herself after a photo of her vagina allegedly was circulated at the company party, according to the people familiar with the board. Activision's board said in a statement it had been informed at all times to respect the status of the regulatory matters.
How do they know it was her vagina?
She offed herself, so it had to have been.
That's not what I meant. I meant you see a picture and you're like, that looks like your vagina.
Because obviously she was probably messing with someone there, and he spread that photo around. So here's another fun one, right? Another fun one.
Okay.
Remember that email? So at the time, an email was circulated around Activision Blizzard by staff Frances Townsend, the White House chick, one of the company's female executives. Townsend would take an enormous amount of flack for this email, and Kotick backtracked the statement and called it tone deaf, saying that these were meritless and, like, these are deeply exaggerated, blah, 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 blah. And he said, and he apologized, this was a tone deaf statement, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, Bobby Kotick drafted the statement himself and directed Townsend to send it. So she didn't actually email this. She didn't actually write this. Bobby Kotick wrote it and told her to send it. And then he backtracked and said, "We apologize for our tone deaf statement. We will do better. Blah blah blah. This is this goes against how we are." And he's talking shit about this email to make it look like she sent it, making her take the fall for that. When this fucking retard actually wrote it himself and had her send it. Now the fact that she still sent it and instead of refusing talks about her character too.
I mean, definitely, but it's so weird. Like, did you not think that people would find out that you
drafted it? I don't think he did. I don't think he did. So Townsend sent it. Townsend had to apologize to a company's women's group she led and was asked to resign, which she did. Miss Townsend should not be blamed for this mistake, said Activision spokeswoman Helene Klasky.
Clearly,
again, I agree with you. Yeah, she should be blamed for it. Not for the email itself, but like you could have totally said no.
Or you could have said, by the way, the CEO Bobby Kotick wrote this and has me sending it.
Clearly, he needs to be friends with Hillary Clinton because his email erasure is fucking abysmal.
I mean, here's what I will say.
It's embarrassing.
If he is truly on Epstein's flight list, he probably was. Because guess who else is on that flight list? Bill Clinton.
Yeah. No, I know. But I was confused about what you were saying.
So these new revelations have to be
never
viewed
mind.
in a wider context of the allegations against Activision, and the various ongoing legal actions. The company is in court against the California Department of Fair Employment, Housing, and facing allegations that have routinely ignored complaints by female employees of harassment, sexual harassment, and discrimination. The Wall Street Journal claims that since this action is launched in July, Activision has received more than 500 HR complaints from current and former employees alleging harassment, sexual assault, bullying, paying disparities, and other issues.
See,
Listen, we're not going to dive into this.
I'm just saying.
You can easily argue that some of these are just now trying to be a part of the fucking game. But at the point is, like, you could look at that all you want. That's fine.
It still
And I
plays
get
into
it.
it, though.
It plays into
does.
it, but at the same time, it's like, it does not downplay the issues that are
It
currently
can.
going on.
It can. If more are coming, quote unquote, coming to light, and then if it's becoming to like they're either
You can argue, but
not
then
substantial,
you could argue.
it's going to downplay the
Again, those
seriousness
will
of
get
it.
filtered out in court.
They'll get filtered out in court, but the ones that are legitimate and can be proven, which most of them can, will hold up.
Definitely.
So it's like, the false accusations will get filtered out, and that's not going to undermine the case.
But the bad part is, I don't think most of them can
With the way
because it's so hard to prove.
Here's the thing: with how messy and extensive this is, the handful of false reports are not going to outweigh the majority of legitimate ones. The legitimate ones are going to completely outweigh the handful of false. And the reason.
And all they would have to do is compare, especially things for like pay or other things like that. One, most people are probably keeping track of this because they knew how bad the company was. And two, keep your pay stubs. Like, they can easily make a comparison and show that people in the same position with the same seniority
and with pay
are
stubs
getting
being
paid
digital,
less.
that's a lot easier now.
Definitely. It's not super hard. And unfortunately, if they get rid of the evidence in terms of like Activision, they start getting rid of evidence. The evidence that they don't get rid of for the other cases are going to look even worse. And then that's going to get piled on top of it. So it's going to be their own demise.
Well, no, what I mean is, like, these cases, like within the military, these cases rarely ever go in the favor of the accuser because they're so hard to prove. Because for them to get the justice for it, that's why, like most rape cases, the accuser doesn't get that justice because there's no evidence.
Well, it's a very different thing though too when it compares to this, because we're not just talking about rape allegations. We're also talking about things that happen in the workplace where there are multiple witnesses. People know and can see what is happening directly. We're not talking about a girl who got drunk at a party, got raped, and then decided to wait a month and a half before she said anything.
We are.
In some cases, sure.
But this isn't the overall, for Activision, this isn't the overall thing. We're not talking about a one-off rape case where the victim decided to wait 2 or 3 months and has no evidence, no video evidence, and no DNA evidence left over to
We're
talk
talking about hundreds of people.
We're talking about hundreds of people who have eyewitnesses, who have video evidence, picture evidence, the pay stubs as well. Like, there's stuff to go along into this. And I do understand it. Overall, it should be taken into account that there are false accusations out there, especially on big name cases where people do want to put their stuff into it, and that is fine, and you should acknowledge that because that is a big deal as a part of it. You don't just get to play part of the game because you want to and you want to take advantage of something. I do agree, but with this, there's too much going on for them just to be like, oh, well, this will discredit this.
Well, you also have to keep in mind the state of California is the one pursuing this case. They wouldn't have pursued this case if they didn't have enough evidence to believe that they could win.
Oh, definitely. Like, they're not going to take a case that they don't have any evidence for.
Right.
Which is part of the reason why most rape cases don't even go to court, because there is no evidence. You know what I mean? Whereas here,
they usually, it's on the accuser though. It's truly up to them.
Right.
I mean,
So,
still.
but with this, like, the DFEH would not have pursued this if they didn't have the evidence to back it.
For some people, I would agree that's the case. But I think a good majority of these are probably going to end up not being found
honestly
substantial.
And you know what? Some of them, there's probably going to be a lot of them that are going to not, make it all the way to the end. But there's got to be an overwhelmingly number of them that will. Otherwise, they would not have had a case to go off of. They wouldn't, if they didn't think that they had a case here, they wouldn't have pursued it how they are. And then Activision wouldn't be in such damage control, like with this PR little thing that Kotick says.
Well, no matter what, you're going to be in damage as a company. You're going to be in damage control, regardless, because that's just how it is nowadays. With how
look, a pay
widespread
stub.
shit is.
If you thought Bobby Kotick's 2020 income of $155 million was big, you should see what he'd make if Activision replaced him.
What?
It seems like he'd make more.
What is this? Termination of Activision Blizzard without causes.
Without cause or termination for good reason following the change of control.
Oh, 4 causes. This is for good reason. Why employee for good reason following a change of control? What?
Let's terminate Activision Blizzard without cause or termination by employee for good reason. Termination by Activision Blizzard without cause or termination. So he would still make hundreds of millions of dollars if he got fired. So anyway, let's go to this statement.
I was confused.
So Bobby says there's an article today that paints an inaccurate and misleading view of our company, of me personally and my leadership. That's not inaccurate at all, you fucking moron. I want to say 2 important things about this. First, we are incredibly fortunate to have the most talented people in our industry, also committed to constant improvement, and I share this commitment. The second thing I want to say is that anyone who doubts my conviction to be the most welcoming, inclusive workplace doesn't really appreciate how important this is to me.
He'll also have you killed.
And he'll have you killed. So it's like, I want to point out and say that anyone who doubts me doesn't actually appreciate me. Like,
This sounds like Fauci.
this does. So Kotick's statement goes on to say Activision Blizzard is moving forward with a new zero tolerance policy for inappropriate behavior. And zero means zero. Any reprehensible conduct is simply unacceptable. Over the last few years, our industry has had an uncomfortable spotlight that's been illuminating companies for us to change. And we must all, including me, embrace this need for change so we can bring our very best selves to the very best place to work. Activision Blizzard's own separate response to the story reiterated, we are disappointed in the Wall Street Journal's report, which represents misleading view of Activision Blizzard and our CEO. Instances of sexual misconduct that we were brought to his attention were acted upon. Apparently, no, they were not. The studio remains locked in multiple court battles for harassment allegations dating back years. Kotick has always been a part of this story, inasmuch as about the institutional problem the company has more or less built into institution. But until this point, it's been the typical CEO position of issuing statements and promising change. So, also, with not only are the employees calling for this fucker to be gone, what is happening?
Resident Evil 4.
So 1,700 Blizzard employees call for Bobby Kotick to step down. There was also shareholders. Where is that one at? Let's see. Let's go to page 1.
Well, I don't see the shareholders is they don't truly care. They only care because the stock is going down.
No, the stock is tanking.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm saying
saying
the shareholders only don't want it for the cause of what it is. They only want him out because now the stock is going down.
So Activision's CEO Kotick has lost workers. The 1,600 staff calling him to go. Let's see. Where's the one about the shareholders?
Otherwise, the shareholders would have said something a long time ago.
I know.
But they're still making money at the
Well,
time.
I mean, the fact that the
So
SEC is trying to sue him, should tell you that they are like, huh. Well, yeah, they're losing money too, so, you know.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Until they start losing money, that's when they care. And then they're like, this is a travesty.
So you've got like over 1,000 employees saying that he needs to go. You've got plenty of large name businessmen saying that he needs to go. You've got Xbox and Sony saying that he needs to go. You've got fucking shareholders saying that he needs to go. But the board of directors does not want him to go. And here's their statement on it. So Activision board supports Bobby Kotick. So Activision Blizzard rallies around the embattled CEO hours after demanding a damning report. So, this is what the board has to say about all of this. So the Activision Blizzard board remains committed to the goal of making Activision Blizzard the most welcoming and inclusive company in the industry. Under Bobby Kotick's leadership, the company is already implementing industry-leading changes, including a zero-tolerance harassment policy, which we have also determined that he doesn't follow.
Well, if it's just now implemented, it didn't count 16 years ago. Come on.
I know, right? So, a dedication to achieving significant increases the percentages of women and non-binary people in our workforce and significant internal and external investments to accelerate opportunities for diverse talent. The board remains confident that Bobby Kotick appropriately addressed workplace issues brought to his attention. The goals we have set for ourselves are both critical and ambitious. The board remains confident that Kotick's leadership, commitment, and ability to achieve these goals. So essentially what they're saying is, Bobby Kotick has made us a lot of money, so we are not going to let him go. Just because of these.
Yeah, essentially.
And you know what's kind of, this is a dumb thing that this board has done. And the reason why it's so dumb is because this is going to come back to bite them in the ass.
Oh, definitely.
Especially if this lawsuit
goes through.
And the DFEH win this lawsuit.
Well, because unfortunately I feel like it's also going to unveil a lot of things about them individually as well. Because now you can't tell me that if he's doing some shady shit that they were just all squeaky clean.
Well,
over
Bloomberg
there.
actually reported this, saying that, "Hi everyone, today we're taking on a look at Activision's Blizzard's board, which is full of Bobby Kotick's old pals." So, let's see. Many people have questioned why the board is supporting Kotick when the situation in Activision has been publicly toxic and detrimental to the company's stock. But this is a loyal group that has stood by the CEO through several massive crises before, such as the 2010 legal battle with the creators of Call of Duty. The board, mostly men, includes 5 people who have been connected to Activision for at least 18 years. 2 of the seats are occupied by Kotick and his longtime business partner, Brian Kelly, who together purchased their first stake in Activision in 1990. Mm-hmm. Kelly is the board chairman. Robert Morgado, the lead independent director, is a former CEO of Warner Music Group who was forced to resign after a controversial restructuring plan and has been on Activision's board since 1997. Robert Cordy is a longtime executive of Avon Products Incorporated who has held a seat since 2003. A 5th director, Peter Nolan, a senior advisor to private equity giant Leonard Green and Partners, also began serving on Activision's board in 2003, although he took a leave several years following the company's merger with the Vivendi Games. He rejoined in 2014.
You know what pisses me off about these?
What?
None of these fucks have anything to do with video games.
Except maybe one. Oh, no, he left after they merged with the gaming company. None of them have to do with gaming. None of them.
All the games suck these days.
Right. So in other words, half of Activision Blizzard's board has been together for nearly 2 decades. 3 of the others, Dawn Ostroff, Casey Westerman, and Barry Meyer, are longtime Hollywood insiders who have undoubtedly brushed shoulders with Kotick during his many years in L.A. Kotick has
one fucking movie.
Kotick has long been plugged into the movie business and has appeared in the 2011 film Moneyball. He launched an Activision film and TV division 6 years ago.
What?
I don't. I've never even heard of this. Rivetta Bowers, one of the only 2 women on the board, joined in 2018. She's an independent governess and organizational consultant for nonprofit organizations. She previously served on the board of Walt Disney Company, and was vice president of marketing at Activision from 96 to 98. He's currently the CEO. Wait, who's this guy? Hendrik Hartnog? Oh, this is a different person. He's currently the CEO of private equity from Byron Wood Partners and has been director of Activision board since 2015.
Byron Wood Partners?
Whatever. The other reason the board may not be ready to show Kotick the door just yet, they've been making many millions of dollars together for years. In 2003, the year Cordy and Nolan joined the board, Activision was trading around $2. Now, after shedding about 32% this year due to ongoing crisis, shares are hovering around $63. So a lot of, So essentially, people are saying...
Go back up there. This says, when he joined the board, the trade was $2. And now they've lost,
And this is... It's $63 after a 32%...
That's like a third of a drop lately.
And they're still sitting at $63 a share.
Yeah. That's insane.
So some current and former employees of Activision Blizzard have described the company's upper ranks as boys club, where being friends with the top executives is the best way to get promoted. Perhaps it's the only reason why Bobby Kotick remains in charge.
It does seem like it.
It's 100% like it. So let's get into this new shit about Bobby Kotick.
New shit?
Yeah, it's like literally like not that long ago.
Are you talking about his suicide or?
Yeah, his untimely death. So
None of this will be pertinent if that were the case.
report Activision CEO Bobby Kotick will consider quitting if he can't fix the company's culture.
This fucking picture, dude.
I know. Besieged Activision Blizzard CEO Kotick last week was the subject of staff walkouts and shareholder calls for his resignation. Has reportedly said he will consider leaving the company if he can't speedily address the harassment issues that have made headlines around the world this year.
Interesting. You will consider.
The Wall Street Journal says Kotick met with Blizzard's executive last Friday and told them that he would consider leaving the company if he can't quickly fix the culture problems of the video game giant.
Yeah, this is just a safe face.
Yes.
Keyword, consider.
Mr. Kotick, who has held Activision for 3 decades, stopped short of saying he would step down on Friday meeting with executives of the company's Blizzard Entertainment unit, but left with the possibility of open if misconduct issues across the company weren't fixed with speed, these people said. It's also said that the separate meeting on Friday, top execs at Activision Publishing relayed that Mr. Kotick and that some employees wouldn't be satisfied unless he resigned, according to those people. And that Mr. Kotick said that he was ashamed of some of the incidents that had happened on his watch and apologized for how he's handled the unfolding of problems. No, he wasn't ashamed. He's saying that because I should have gotten rid of these problems sooner because now they're a fucking big problem. Well, the truth was he wasn't ever ashamed.
No, he's upset now because it's becoming a real issue for him. He's not.
He didn't give a fuck before because it's like, it's not affecting me. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. He was not upset because there were sexual assault or rape allegations or discrepancies in pay. He's mad he's upset now because it's becoming a huge issue and everyone, including people who are outside of his company, want him to not be there. It's the only reason why he's doing this.
So it says, this is bullshit. Wow, Kotaku. Kotick took charge of a reborn Activision in 2008. Those culture problems he's talking about are systematic level of harassment, misogyny, and abuse fostered through years of cultural neglect and at times even reported committed and protected by Kotick himself.
Wait, it says he took charge in 2008. What?
He took charge of a reborn Activision in 2008. That's not right.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh, I think he became CEO in 2008.
Okay. So he had like a lower position.
Right. He was like the part of the marketing team. The lawsuit, which blew the doors off this whole thing, became public knowledge in July. He had months to address this, and instead, during that time, he oversaw the appointment of the first woman co-lead Blizzard, only for her to quit after feeling tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against. Then saw it reported that Kotick himself took part in the instances of abuse, including threatening a voicemail that one of his assistants killed. He shouldn't be considering quitting. He should have already done it. In this, like Kotaku, I shall say, I agree with you. So Activision Blizzard boards is still backing him. What do they have to say? What do you rich morons have to fucking say about that?
Wait, go up. When was this article done?
2 hours ago.
Oh, nice.
Bobby Kotick.
Listen to this article. What?
No, we're gonna read it.
You can listen to the article?
What's it sound like? Let me hear it.
Bobby Kotick is still the CEO of Activision Blizzard for now.
I don't want to wait for these
Bold
breaks.
ideas take
All right,
bright
it's an ad.
minds, and at the
Boom.
It says Bobby Kotick
we
is
challenge
still
you
the
to
Activision
imagine a
CEO.
better
Still
world
playing.
It's still
and
the.
then
I know
create it.
this is playing
We
the
offer
ad.
more than 250.
There we go.
So Bobby Kotick is still the CEO of Activision Blizzard, despite the Wall Street Journal's report detailed. I'm reading a lot. My mouth is not keeping up. So Kotick has reportedly told executives they may consider stepping down if with speed. Well, we already read a similar article to this. So apparently employees attended meetings held by the company's senior leaders and human resource managers last week inquired whether Activision Blizzard's zero-tolerance policy for sexual harassment would apply to Kotick. The Wall Street Journal also claims that some attendees directly asked if Kotick would step down. Activision is also weighing a workplace excellence committee, according to the Wall Street Journal, in response to the allegations of a toxic work environment. The committee will supposedly help better Activision Blizzard's work culture, but the Wall Street Journal claims that the company still has no specific plans to investigate his behavior. So they don't even plan to look into it.
Well, I think what he's trying to do now, or like what it appears to me, is that he's trying to do see, hey, can I do damage control to keep us making more money? Like, will this blow over? And if not, then he's going to get with his buddies and see if they want him to resign or not to keep making money. That's exactly what it. To me, what is his sound
like? How is this blowback going to be enough to make us lose money? And if it is, then I'll leave.
Yeah, essentially, like because we already just kind of went over. He's gonna make money even if he gets kicked out anyway.
He's gonna make hundreds of millions if he leaves.
But not
it doesn't
as
matter.
much.
But that's the point though. That's probably what he's weighing right now. Hey, is this blowback going to be enough to where it would be more profitable to resign than it would be to stay? And they're weighing that shit
Or
right
get
now.
removed.
Well,
Yeah.
This just highlights that the problems are still going to be at the top even after he's gone.
Oh, definitely. But like, I mean, it's just the idea. We don't. That to me, this says nothing about restructuring. And granted, I know everybody who's ever read any of this shit doesn't believe that he's really trying to help. I just think this gives him enough time of a grace period to sit there and be like, hey, we're going to weigh our options and see how bad this is going to get. And do I really need to leave, take the money that I get out of that and go to save the shareholders and save, his buddies at the top to keep them making money, right? That's what it looks like to me.
Honestly, the way I see it is, what do you think, Wackus Bunkus? Kill them. Oh, you naughty Wackus Bunkus.
Wackus Bonkus might have actually told him that, according to that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
According to that voicemail, I was
Kill
just
them
saying.
all.
What are we referencing right now?
You haven't seen the TikToks?
No, okay.
What do you think, Wackus Bunkus? Kill them. Where it was just like,
I think our feeds are drastically different. I think we figured this out last night.
So what do you want to do about the board of directors? What do you want to do, Wackus Bunkus? Kill them. Oh, you naughty Wackus Bunkus.
But, we're not inciting violence.
We're not inciting
in
violence.
the workplace.
We're inciting change. We're not inciting violence. We're inciting change. If that change happens to come with violence, I mean, I'm not saying that
Violence is never the answer, but it is always an answer.
knowing is half the battle. The other half is perpetual violence.
Yes.
Depending on what that's applied to.
Everything.
It could be
As
put
I
in
said.
very bad
Essentially,
ways.
yes. No, violence is not the answer,
But it
but
is
it is an answer. I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm saying it's been known in the past in history to have been very effective. Very effective. It's just it's ridiculous, and I'm like, the fact that didn't we even talk about this before? It's a matter of time before dirt comes out on this guy. Like we
definitely.
all knew
Probably.
we all knew this guy had skeletons in his closet. I'm like, I even said when they first announced this lawsuit,
it's really hard to sit there and say, hey, this bad shit's happening in the company, and have a CEO
that's completely clean.
Completely clean. Otherwise, we would be hearing stuff like, hey, this guy, and this guy got fired because they got, shown this stuff. Hey, like timely responses. Then I might be like, maybe he's doing, maybe he's like, what the fuck, and is trying to do some, cleanup internally. That'd be different. But there's too many things that are hugely systemic that as a CEO, you're gonna be fucking aware of. Like you almost can't be.
And then
Sort of.
And what? But having that much of it.
Well, so I look at it. I literally look at it. I compare it to the military because that's what I know. How much shit does the CEO have no fucking clue about?
Oh, definitely.
But he also gets blamed for and is responsible for where he could be involved in as well. He could have his own shit going on. But there's a lot of shit that just because he's at the top, he has no fucking clue.
I mean, true, but in our instance, definitely with CEOs over top of a command, that definitely is true. But if it's so widely systemic and nothing's being done,
but it's also hard to make that comparison in the way of that, like the culture of the military versus the culture of a corporate place are not. They're similarly structured. They are not the same when it comes to the culture within it. That's the difference.
Again, there were too many things like with pay that were systemically big issues.
Yes, and you
or
can't
things
you
like-
can't argue pay if you're fucking an E3 and you're bitching that a dude that's an E5 is getting paid more than you. Well, yeah, his pay grade's fucking higher.
Well,
Just because you work in the same shop doesn't mean that you're going to get paid
Well,
more.
that's just it's not pay. It's replaced with, like, for us, it's replaced with evals and
Yes.
whatever y'all call
So
it.
But here's the thing.
Pros and cons.
they're-
I don't know, is that?
it's the same. It's evals.
But
Okay.
point being is that, or like we can take, I forget the woman's name, but the first gay Asian woman to be up there at the top with all the big boys.
Jen O'Neill.
She was like, oh, well, I was tokenized, and that she was still receiving all this backlash and all this discrimination despite her being up there. That definitely sends a clear message that
they
hey,
also-
we did this not because we thought that this woman was just so kick-ass that we wanted to give her promotion, that hey, gay Asian lady ticks off a lot of boxes to where it looks good,
Right.
And then
And
in
it just-
practice they didn't appreciate her at all.
And it was like they didn't appreciate it at all because it was just like J. Allen Brack, the leader of
Well, did
Mike Ybarra. Mike Ybarra was the co-leader at the time,
and he was like, hey, she needs to be paid the same as I do.
But the thing is, I think even Mike Ybarra had some allegations against him. The only thing he was advocating for was the fact that she deserved to get paid as much as he did because she was doing the same thing he was doing.
Right, and I'm assuming that seniority wasn't too much of a difference there, because I also asked the same thing too. Like, well, if I've been in this position for 15 years, I probably have some seniority on someone who just got
Well, they
elevated
probably
to
get paid
that.
more because, like,
Right, and I understand.
Yeah.
Again, seniority plays a huge part into it. Even me being an E3 in the fucking Navy, being 4 years in, I'm going to get paid more than an E3 who just got out of boot camp.
So
Yeah.
But still, but
like
and I
you
do
s-
understand that affects it. But if he's calling for that, chances are that's not playing a factor.
no, so like it was like she definitely was tokenized and put to tick the boxes because J. Allen Brack, president of Blizzard, stepped down. Mike Ybarra got fired, and then she was next up. Even though she was next up, they're like, oh, perfect, a gay Asian woman. We could put you here in this position, and they appointed her right after J. Allen Brack left in August, and then
that's-
she stepped down because she was like, they weren't paying me the same rate as the guy before me, and they didn't give a fuck about me. They were just using me because all these issues that came about, this made it look like that they were changing something when they weren't.
yeah, and that's the shit part too. I think is wrong because I think they're also kind of forced to do that because of society, where like. Let's say she just wasn't skilled enough or didn't have the criteria to really do it. The fact that she was a gay Asian,
but honestly, her being with the company since the fucking 90s,
Yeah,
I think she's plenty skilled enough.
I'm just saying in general. But like,
And
if someone
I do
doesn't
agree,
deserve the
there's
position,
a lot of people who do because of diversity quotas. I will say there is a
which
lot of
people will say don't exist.
well, I mean, no, there places, especially like universities, will admit that they exist. But unfortunately, like there's a lot of them though too, where they will straight up put people in positions that shouldn't be in those positions because they were enough to tick off a box. Hey,
Right.
you are a gay in this scenario. You're a gay Asian woman. Cool. You have a different sexuality than straight. That's a tick in the box. You're Asian. That's a tick in the box. You're not just a white person. And you're a woman. Another tick in the box. And then to go all along there and not treat her very well just shows in this scenario without any kind of like discrepancy that clearly they weren't appreciating her. Clearly they weren't treating her like a decent employee.
And they never intended to.
And they never intended to. They literally just used her for whatever titles they needed to make it look as though they were doing good and progressive things while they continued to be shitty behind
So,
closed doors.
like, she, and
I
honestly,
hate both aspects of
she
it.
was-
Where they're
she-
forced to kind of put those people.
well, on
into
top of
them,
that, she
and then
definitely,
that they do it.
she was definitely qualified for the spot. But the whole point is that they would never have given her the spot had it not been for this stuff. Even though she definitely deserved the spot, and it's pretty bad. Like, and here's like a little thing that you can use, I guess, towards like credit for her. The guy Mike Ybarra that was also was fired for his issues. He's vouching for her to get as paid as much as he was. And she wasn't, and he didn't think that was fair. When the guy that has got allegations against him is vouching for her, that definitely puts credit on her. But the point was that Activision never really gave a fuck. They were never going to give her that position until she was like ticking all the boxes, and you are going to be the person. Not only are you qualified, but you conveniently also match everything to make it look like we are doing something.
And
But we're not going to pay you for it.
and especially considering their current scenario where Activision find themselves, it definitely paints that picture that, hey, they did this for entirely the wrong reasons, and it just makes everything look worse in their favor.
Yeah, it does.
So, I agree. She was hugely tokenized. You can see it, especially so soon after getting that position, saying that you're not getting paid the same. A previous employee who had allegations against him is like, hey, what the fuck? And that
but
she
wouldn't-
resigned so soon after it just
Wouldn't that
doesn't.
make people not want to support it because he had allegations against him?
Not really.
Well, and when it
Because
comes to
it's
in
so-
favor for
point
her,
is that
it
it's
wouldn't.
someone
It would.
who-
People would be like, okay,
it's
then.
someone who was in that, regardless of whether he had allegations against him or not. It's someone who was in that position who was getting that amount of pay for that position, and then to find out that the person who replaced you isn't getting that same amount of pay, and you saying something about it doesn't discredit it. It just shows that with irrefutable evidence that there was a discrepancy there. Because if she's the only board of directors, something like that,
co-leader.
if she's the only co-leader there, then sure, it's a little bit hard to be like, oh, wait, I'm not getting paid as much. Well, if you're the only co-lead, like, it's kind of hard to compare you to anyone. But if the previous guy's like, hey, I got paid more, and it looks exactly like I got paid more because I'm a dude, then that's a problem. And pointing that out doesn't discredit whatever he did or not.
See, well, I do agree with that, and I think that him saying that was correct. I think that we're also picking and choosing what we think is appropriate to believe or take out of what these people say.
I mean,
simply
Why?
based off of agreement. You know what I mean?
well,
How?
I mean, there's the irrefutable evidence about that.
Because what he said about her, we agree with, and like, yeah, it's a right statement. But simply because he had allegations against him, he could say something about another situation,
And you would take
or
that with
another,
a grain
or
of
even
salt
Bobby
if it-
Kotick. He could support him, but because he's had allegations against him, they're like, oh, we're gonna fucking believe this guy. Why would we believe that?
Well, he'd be
But it's
supporting a
because-
guy that also has allegations against him.
I'm saying in general because we agree with one statement, but
This
because
statement
we
doesn't
don't
have-
agree with
this-
another statement.
This statement doesn't have any holes in it. This isn't like Bobby Kotick trying to sweep
That's probably an
And,
extreme
it's, and,
example.
and
Sure.
also, like, Mike Ybarra wasn't really defending himself. He was defending somebody else that isn't even involved.
totally
in it.
unrelated. He had zero to gain by telling them
Right.
that she got paid less than he was. You know
Nothing
what I
to
mean?
gain.
This isn't a pick and choose. This was, we saw what he said,
And this wasn't.
and we didn't see any flaws with this. We just
Yes.
said, hey, he said she got paid less than I did. They looked into it. He said that she should be paid the same amount as I did, and the company said, fuck that.
Also, this wasn't him saying this. This was her saying this. That he vouched for her. This wasn't him saying, I vouched for her. No, Jen O'Neill said that he vouched for her. Like, the lady that left is the one
Seems
saying,
true.
Mike Ybarra even said that he was getting paid more than me.
I think
and-
that we're naturally biased.
and advocate. I don't, not in this scenario.
Not in this scenario.
There's
I mean,
nothing
like,
to be biased
we-
about.
so
There was
we already-
clearly a standard of measure saying he got paid X. He agreed that he was getting paid more than she was. There's no biasy in this.
I don't think you're looking into what I'm saying.
You're saying that we're naturally biased because we hate Activision and we hate Bobby Kotick.
No, in general, when we're agreeing on his statement of supporting her, yes, but because we agree with it. If he were to, let's say, if he supported one of the other people that got, like,
yeah, but the
that
difference
left,
is that we're not talking about him talking about someone and saying, "Oh, well, that rape allegation, it never happened. That guy wouldn't do it." We're talking about.
no, I meant business wise. I'm talking about like their position and everything like that.
I mean,
I'm
sure.
saying simply because he himself has accusations,
Sorry.
we're only agreeing on this portion of
It
what
just
he
so
said.
happened to be that he had the same position that she was holding.
Which is what
That's
credit,
the
which
only
is what-
that we're not going because like
That's what I
this
mean.
guy said it. No, he was in the same position prior to this.
And since he was getting
And
that
beca-
pay,
and he
that
was-
credits his statement.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was just like another guy. No, he was holding that same position before he left, and then she took it, and then she's not getting paid the same amount he was getting paid before he left.
This is getting too complicated to try to explain.
Probably. Regardless, I'm still. Who wants to take bets on how long before fucking Bobby's gone?
I'll say before the new year.
You think before the new year?
Yeah.
I think around probably around the end of holidays. Well, which is around New Year. Yeah. So between the holidays and New Year, I'd say Bobby Kotick might be out, and if probably at the latest, I'd say at the start of the new year he'll be gone.
I definitely think that this is just they're weighing their options to see which one would be the most.
It might even be sooner. I mean, it's still fucking. We're not even in Thanksgiving yet. It
I'll
could
say
be.
2022.
It could be by. No, I think it could be around the.
I think it's before the turn of the new year.
I think it'd be near the
Yeah,
holidays.
I definitely think this is straight up a
I think it's
moment
gonna
where they're just saying, "Hey, what is going to be most profitable for us?
I think it's gonna be after.
Is it going to be, is it going to be to him to hold on and hopefully see if this blows over, or is he just going to be like, hey, this is going to be too costly for us. We're not going to make as much money as if I just leave." And so that's what they're weighing right now, which is why he said that he would consider leaving if he can't immediately turn it around. To me, that says, hey, we're going to weigh our options. If this doesn't go away and we start losing more money, I'm going to take the severance package, and hopefully all his buddies in there can still stay in. That's what it's seeing to me. So
I don't know. Time will tell. Honestly, it really will. We'll find out more when it happens.
I think it'll be next year.
Who knows? So let's wrap this up, boys.
all right,
We covered some pretty fucking thick stuff today.
some bombshells.
We covered 3 topics.
The 3 top, like I said, there's only a few topics, but they are big, and I knew they'd be big, and that's why I left it at just those 3. I mean, the GTA one was more of like a filler thing than anything, just to give us a little bit more time. Otherwise,
Hey,
we would have been
guys.
done an hour and a half in.
Rockstar is performing damage control amid their shitty products. Shocker.
Yay! And the Streamlabs one, that's another big one that I wanted to talk about.
I didn't know about the one, but I also think that one needs to be covered a little bit more because we knew
do, it
admittedly we
does.
knew from our last episode that like, hey, Rockstar shot out a terrible fucking product that no one liked and they're doing stupid shit with copyright. Sure, that's fair, but we did cover that before. But the Streamlabs was important because straight up like fucking user
Plagiarism.
reviews. God damn, guys.
That's
Like,
I didn't even catch that until tonight. I'm like, you guys fucking copied and pasted user reviews? You couldn't have some dumbass in a fucking office type you a handful
On an
and then have
anonymous
someone and like just fucking make generic photos
on an anonymous
Like how
account.
most
Right.
Fuck.
user reviews are.
So they literally just had to be like, we're gonna take
Because
that.
you had to have spent just as much time directly copying and pasting these fucking user reviews and putting up a blank profile image, then you could have put just by getting a couple of anonymous accounts, making those and just writing your own fucking like. Oh my god!
I think they'd really just kind of gotten complacent and lazy and thought no one will notice because
That's-
Lightstream isn't nearly as wide known.
That's pretty far down the rabbit hole when
But,
you're talking about it
complacency
being
kills.
when you're talking about it being literally just as much effort to make a couple of anonymous accounts to do your own user reviews. You can even completely change everything that you want about that review, right? Literally just make your own. But no, we're going to go so far because it's apparently, it seems to me, is just as much work. We're going to copy the fucking reviews, which is also dumb because if you're going to make your own reviews, that's fine. Like, it's still shitty, but fine. You make a couple of anonymous accounts, you're good. But you looked at the review section on those products for Lightstream and said, fuck it, we're going to copy
We're gonna
these."
just put that on ours. Fuck it.
Jesus.
That's
we
what you
don't-
do when you're complacent.
It was like an effortless attempt at plagiarism, or it wasn't even an attempt. It was like effortless. It was like a. They put no effort in it, even trying to make it look original. They just went.
Well,
That's
what do you
mine
mean,
now.
What do you mean we changed it all to purple? Come on.
It's not green. It's purple, even though Streamlabs colors are green,
Weird.
which I thought was weird. At first, I thought fucking.
Oh, you didn't look up the Stream Elements thing if it's partnered with them.
I mean, we could do that right now. Let me look.
We had finished it. We got super distracted.
Wait, Stream Elements partner with who?
OBS.
Let's see. Stream Elements, teams, top streamers. No. Doesn't say anything like that.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, boys, it's time for me to go celebrate my birthday farther. Alicia made
Birthday
homemade
sex.
ice cream cake,
Good for you.
but it was
Sex.
it was like brownie cake with ice cream in it. So,
Okay.
but it's super good, very rich. But it's like really hard to cut because it's like thick brownie.
Because it's like frozen. Thick.
It's not even not even frozen. Like you can let it like thaw out a little bit. It's still thick brownie batter, but it's cold. So brownie batter doesn't cut like cake at all.
Oh,
It's thick.
Understood.
Thick
With 2 C's.
with 5 C's. All right, so everyone.
Yes.
We hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. You guys have a 4-day this weekend, don't you?
I work on Thanksgiving.
Some of us.
I mean, what about the weekend? What about after Thanksgiving?
I'm off those days, but yeah, I work on Thanksgiving.
You got duty on Thanksgiving.
Dude, he has no friends.
I mean, to be fair, you families in Ohio, you could have easily gone.
I mean, true, but it's also kind of shitty at that point because it's one thing to go down like the last day of work and then just be gone for those rest of those days. It's another thing to have that entire day be gone and then go down the next day for a 6-hour drive and then be there for a day and have to come back.
It's more fucked up because our duty day is generally done by like noon.
And it's also dumb too because generally speaking, I don't want to,
Yeah.
jinx anything, but typically speaking, like we can't even do our full job there. So even if someone does come in, it's kind of like, hey bud, like, are you really going to hurt yourself? No? Cool. Go the fucking leave. Go back to your compartment. Or it's like, oh, all right. Like nothing I say is going to convince you to not hurt yourself in some way. Cool. Ambulance. Send them out.
Send them to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's all we can do. There's no psychologist there with me.
Because they're all gone.
There's usually a provider there who likes to like talk to them after we're done, but that's it.
Which is funny because if they're
Thanks
still...
much for the M&Ms, man.
Jesus, you're shooting high.
What?
You said Jesus, you're shooting high.
Why?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like you're shooting for the M&M sponsorship.
I said thanks, Butch.
Okay. Good Lord.
M&Ms. Just so you know, I look forward to your inquiry about being our first official sponsor.
Are they the ones with nuts?
What?
Are they the ones with nuts?
Peanut butter.
Oh, those are good. Yeah, I like those.
Anyway,
Pretty much a rip off of fucking Reese's Pieces, but
I want to thank you guys for being here again.
Yes, of
I
course.
want to thank you guys for watching.
all
I
40
love
of you.
Like
the video.
Subscribe.
the video, subscribe, go to all social medias in the links down in the description, and check us out. And if you don't want to watch this, we're on Spotify,
Which are going to have videos soon.
I gotta set it up, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you that.
Do you
By
not
the way-
read the group messages?
By the way,
No.
officially, I was approved to have Spotify video on my
Hey.
podcast,
Bam, sis.
just like Joe Rogan.
Oh, fantastic. Are they going to be as upset with you as they are with Joe Rogan?
Everyone's always
I
upset
hope
with
so.
him
I mean,
on
true.
one spectrum or the other.
So-
It depends on who this fucking guest is.
You mean that week? Yeah.
I hope so.
That day, really.
I hope Spotify's like, let's boycott him. It's not an exclusive deal with Spotify.
No, it's just something that they're coming out with.
Yeah.
Like the ability to do.
Nice.
It's like a beta.
Like if you had the ability, you can do it. So that's essentially what this is.
Put in the comments why Brock should reenlist.
I just welcomed the mustache.
You can't wait for that, can you?
No.
Anyway, guys, love you, appreciate you, and have a good Thanksgiving. We'll catch you next weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.